ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV. The prelims start at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus, ESPN News, and the ESPN app.
Ballmen on Campus with Jay Billis, LaFonso Ellis, and Seth Greenberg.
I mean, Billis, it's not like, Fonz probably pays for his stuff, or except that you're on the A package from Duke, so you get this package from Duke every single year for all your Duke Brotherhood stuff.
My hand is out. I don't deny it. You're not saying free. Hey man, if it's free, it's me, and I'll take 3.
Jay Billis, LaFonso Ellis, and Seth Greenberg. Check out Bald Men on Campus wherever you get your podcast. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Raiders receiver Henry Ruggs III is facing a DUI charge in connection with a car crash early this morning in Las Vegas that left one woman dead, according to Las Vegas Metro Police. Ruggs, who showed signs of impairment at the scene, will be charged with DUI resulting in death. On this NFL trade deadline day, the Steelers traded outside linebacker Melvin Ingram to the Chiefs for a 6th-round pick. KC looking to improve its pass rush. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting, although the Dolphins did due diligence on quarterback Deshaun Watson and had conversations with the Texans, they won't be making a trade for him before today's 4 Eastern trade deadline. Watson's facing allegations of sexual assault and inappropriate behavior in 22 civil lawsuits. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott expected to take part in practice tomorrow, and if all goes normal, he should be a full go on Thursday's session. If Dak's injured calf's okay, he should play Sunday, advises ESPN's Marcus Spears.
Sitting here 6-1. The NFC is tight right now with a lot of other really good football teams. Like, your vision now is starting to shift towards not only winning the weeks ahead of you, but how are we positioning ourselves to go forward as far as the playoffs and potentially getting a bye? That involves Dak Prescott playing.
Our Marcus Spears on First Take. Former USC coach Clay Helton in negotiations to become the next football coach at Georgia Southern.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Well, happy trade deadline day in the NFL. It's coming up in the next hour, so we should just talk and predict all the trades that we're going to make in the next 60 minutes, because after that, we're either right or wrong.
No, for sure. I like it.
So will the Jaguars make any moves? Probably not. Will Odell Beckham Jr. go anywhere? Probably not. Will it be active over the next hour? I would say probably not. I mean, this isn't the Major League Baseball trade deadline. It's totally different in the NFL. Draft picks are valuable. And I think when we see a move like a Von Miller move already happen, I think that's kind of the blockbuster move. It usually happens before the deadline. This isn't like at 3:57 a big move will happen. We'll see. And KC keep up with the wire back there, if you will, which essentially is Twitter these days. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. We're live at Top Golf, Tuesdays at Top Golf on ESPN 690. Josh Scobie will join us a little bit later on as well. He was a guy who was traded. I don't remember if it was right at the deadline when he got traded to Pittsburgh, but that's got to shock your system in the NFL. You obviously had a bunch of guys in the locker room that were like, hey, see you later. All of a sudden you wake up that morning, or you're in a meeting, or you come back from the practice field and boom, a guy's gone. Or you got a new teammate. It's really one of the unique things in sports that happens so quickly, and in a 24-hour period, boom, they're in another place.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think back if there's like really any shocking trades that went down on 8 teams that I was at. Nothing's really coming to mind. You know, there were some minor ones here or there, but it's one of those. So, for instance, with Von Miller, I mean, Von Miller was so big, that organization is going to be a Hall of Famer one day. You know, one of the best Broncos to ever do it. You know, in that situation right there, like, I'm not sure what the conversations behind the scene were like. I'm not sure if he was asking for a trade or not, but when you lose a guy like that in the locker room, that's a huge blow. You know, I mean, you saw a guy like Brandon Cooks, who on the Houston Texans team right now that's obviously struggling, but when Mark Ingram got let go, you heard the displeasure and the frustration from Brandon Cooks when he was tweeting. So anytime you lose a veteran presence like that in your locker room, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, that was kind of cool, actually. Von Miller, a guy like that. Hey, you're probably not going to win here. Let's start rebuilding this thing. Let's get some value for a guy, 2nd and 3rd round pick in 2022. The Rams certainly are not afraid to do that, as we know. And Now he gets to go win. I mean, that's the respect, right? That's kind of a Calais Campbell in the offseason. That's what teams try to do good business like that. And if you have a valued guy, now, and I saw some stuff on social media. He had this whole video for everybody else, and class act guy, and obviously a lot of good times with Von Miller in Denver. The big story of the last, I don't know, what are we talking, 6-7 months, has been Deshaun Watson. Yeah. Well, Watson isn't going anywhere. And I really think this was agent-driven and mostly like, hey, let's see if we can get him out of there for the most part. Now, is Miami a suitor of some sorts? Does Miami have interest? I think so. I don't think you can just sit here and say there's no way Miami didn't have any interest in this. They seem like they're the only team that's been actively involved in some capacity for over 2 months. And I don't think an agent's just going to do that to one team. I think they're going to try to create a market. Carolina a little bit, Denver a little bit, whatever else you were hearing. But the bottom line is Deshaun Watson's not going to play, it looks like, in 2021. He is going to lose a year off his career because he is not going to get traded unless something crazy happens in the next hour, and mostly because of the legal stuff. I mean, the legal stuff is holding a trade back, not necessarily the pieces that Houston is asking for or the market there would be for him. The legal issue is a big deal. I mean, Deshaun Watson went from I don't want to play for Houston anymore to basically trapped. And mostly because of these legal things that are going on. And we still don't know when that will be resolved.
Yeah, I mean, if the Dolphins were truly the only team that was actually interested, I think it's a smart move on them to kind of wait and see how this whole process plays out. Because it wasn't like you can bring Deshaun Watson in this year, trade all this draft capital away, and expect for him to come in right away, learn a new offense, learn playing with a new team, and get you to the playoffs. The Dolphins right now are in no position, to talk about the playoffs. So it didn't make any sense whatsoever to get Deshaun Watson before this trade deadline, just because the juice is definitely not worth the squeeze here. So if I'm Miami, obviously I have the name in the background. I see what happens with everything, and if everything comes up clear, and his name is clean, then so be it. Then go after him. But right now, it's not worth it.
So I ask you this: the reason he is not playing in Houston because of the legal issues. He's not playing in Houston because he doesn't want to play in Houston. Correct. He doesn't want to practice with the team. He's on the roster. It's like just this standoff basically in Houston. Should he have played football this year for Houston? Will he lose something by not playing for Houston? Maybe it's the next contract that comes up for Deshaun Watson, the numbers that aren't piling up because of this lost year. Should he have played in hindsight now that he could have played? The NFL is not barring him from playing, given his legal situation.
I mean, should he have played? I think it would have helped him stay in shape, obviously, and be ready for the next team that he's planning on going on. But at the same time, who are we to say that Deshaun Watson wins how many games with that roster right now?
Yeah.
I mean, you have Brandon Cooks. You have I would say, with quotations, a very okay running back room. Offensive line is in.
No, they stink. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the running backs are names, though. I can say David Johnson, Mark Ingram, Phillip Lindsay. I mean, people have heard of those names. It's just I think their offensive line is suffering as well. So, to me, it would help him stay in shape and kind of, not have any rust or anything like that. But at the same time, in terms of confidence, in terms of where he would be mentally, it'd probably only do him worse because the team isn't that good in terms of on paper and on personnel.
Yeah, I think what now my eyes go to a little bit here, and it's a totally different situation. It's the quarterback versus the running back. But the precedent that's been set here is Le'Veon Bell sat out a year. He didn't want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he then came back and he got the good money, right? So he got money. But he was never the same player. Was that because it was a running back? Was that because he lost his groove in a year? Now, the easy argument here is, well, Brent, guys get injured all the time and they lose a year. DJ Chark's going to lose a year. Well, I would say to that is when you do lose a year, it takes you like half the other season sometimes to come back in and play well. That's proven out for the most part. Now it's not a slam dunk all over the place. Adrian Peterson came back from an ACL and played okay. So, I just wonder about that, and he's got so much time left in his career. I'm not here to tell you that, hey, he didn't play this year, and so now he's going to be a terrible quarterback in the NFL. It might not make him difference at all, but it would give me a little bit of pause if I'm a team that's going to have to give up a bunch of draft picks and players for him in the offseason.
I think the quarterback is a position, though, where you feel a little better about being out for a year, whether it's a catastrophic injury or whether it's just you want to sit out because, you don't want to play for that respective team. I think a quarterback you can get away with a little more in sitting out as opposed to maybe a running back, maybe a wide receiver where the timing is maybe a little different, the timing's off, you have to get that back. Quarterbacks, for whatever reason, can sit out, I feel like, a little bit and still have success.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there, and he's a talented guy, and who he ends up being around. What's interesting here is this is not like he chose not to play for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, he chose not to play for a team that was probably going to be pretty bad. Heck, behind that team, he might get injured anyway. I mean, you don't know. So there's a lot that could go into it. But what a lost year for really one of the stars of the NFL. I mean, I'm not going to say he played his cards wrong. He may, in the end of the day, played his cards right anyway because he didn't play for this really bad team and franchise, and he stuck to his principle. But these guys like to compete. I mean, they like to play. And the combination of saying, hey, I'm not going to play for you, I don't want to practice for you, I don't want to do anything with you, I'm going to stand on that principle, and then these 22 allegations have led to a lost year for really one of the top players in the NFL. And it was all really his own doing. It wasn't an injury. It wasn't something else by the league or anywhere else. He could have played this year. He could still play right now if he really wants to. And it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So that Deshaun Watson going to Miami not happening, what does it mean for Tua? All the rumblings that something was up. That the latest reports are the owner of the Dolphins, Stephen Ross, met with Watson or talked to him about some of this stuff, and really in the last 24 hours did his due diligence on it.
Sure.
I mean, Tua's on notice, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they built around Tua. They drafted for Tua. I mean, they have a, in terms of the weapons, I mean, they went after him, and Tua hasn't really lived up to the hype quite yet. Now, whether that's injury-related, whether that's, knocking off the rust coming from that injury, whatever the case may be, it's a performance-based league. And Tua just has not got the job done, unless he's playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, but he's not got the job done overall, and, the team record shows that.
So what's Miami going to do now in the offseason? It's not a draft littered with draft picks or top quarterbacks or can't-miss quarterbacks. They've actually given a lot of their picks away. Are they going to be the biggest suitor, do you think, for a guy like Watson, now that they've kind of done this dance a little bit? And Tua probably has 10 games left for the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a mutual respect there. Deshaun Watson has said that he wants to go to Miami. I truly feel like Miami wants to get Deshaun Watson there. So it is kind of a match made in heaven if they can make it work. Now, if you're Houston, I mean, I wonder where you're sitting at, because you still have this guy, this, once top 5 quarterback who doesn't want to be on your team. We don't know how much of a distraction it is, and you've got nothing for him this year before the trade deadline, and now you're going to go through another offseason of scrutiny, another offseason of bad optics, because Deshaun Watson's people are going to be talking, analysts will be talking about your team, and it's not going to be a good look for the Houston Texans. And they're at a situation right now with David Mills where, I mean, I don't think he's going to be the guy for the next 5-6 years. I don't think anybody in that organization would be confident with saying that. So then what is Houston going to do at the quarterback position? So it's really, Miami for sure. I mean, you got to upgrade from Tua, I believe, because this season has been a disappointment. But also, what does Houston do now since, hey, you still have the same guy that you had this season, nothing got accomplished, and here come more bad optics?
Well, and what's interesting about this is I would say they could even hold the where he goes, right? They'll be like, well, listen, we're not going to trade you to Miami. We think we can get more from Carolina or so on and so forth. But the one caveat here is when they end up trading him at some point in the offseason, he does have a no-trade clause. Yep. So he's going to have to sign off on that. So he does get to still kind of hold the cards in his hand. But they're going to have to pony up some draft picks and some probably players along the way in these deals. All right, the big news this afternoon in the NFL is not the trade or any trade. Instead, it's Henry Ruggs. And how about the story there where he's going to be charged with a DUI, a late-night Las Vegas accident really early this morning, which resulted in the death of someone else. It appears, I think, that everything I've seen in the last hour, that Ruggs is okay. Yeah. But now what? I mean, Ruggs, is he done? Is this too early to know if this is DUI manslaughter or any of those kind of charges? I mean, what now for the Ruggs and the Raiders on the football field outside of Ruggs and the legal system too.
I mean, I don't think where it stands right now there is any Ruggs and playing on the football field because you took somebody's life. Now it might have been an accident, but it was by your own decisions, and it was by drinking alcohol, getting behind the wheel. So now you're gonna have to carry that weight. You got to suffer those consequences, and some of those consequences are you don't get to play football anymore, man. Not unless this all gets figured out. But like if I'm that organization of the Raiders and who's ever running the show now, there's no way you can justify bringing Ruggs back on the team and saying, all right, you ready to go suit up on Sunday? It does not work like that.
Henry Ruggs, obviously out of Alabama, really can fly. I mean, we talk around here about speed, right? And that's an element that they have in Las Vegas. He's been inconsistent, but he's also been pretty good at times for them. And again, there's a dimension to your offense. So from a Raiders standpoint, again, this is really – I mean, we talk sports, so we kind of say, okay, how does it impact from a football standpoint? Well, there's a lot of life stuff going on here, too, including the death of somebody. So that's first and foremost. We get it. The NFL has issued a statement on it. Ruggs now, you do wonder if he'll even play. But this is a team that's, like, competing in the AFC West, been pretty good. They've seemingly have overcome the John Gruden stuff of a couple of weeks ago to win some games. Yeah. And it looked like they're going in the right direction. And now this.
Do you think he's going to play?
I don't think so.
There's no way.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I would almost think that you'd have to – he's already been charged. Casey, jump in here if you've seen something new. But the word is he's already been charged with DUI resulting in death.
Yes.
And I'm not great on the lingo here, but that doesn't sound like you can just walk out the door and play.
No, I think you're done. You can't do that. I think it's simple as that. I think he just, a bad decision has probably cost him his career.
Yeah, I mean, but again, what I was getting at, though, is now what for the Raiders? I mean, how much does it change the Raiders on the football field? I mean, you lose a speed element. All we talk about here in Jacksonville is speed. They need it. Well, another guy that has speed, which there are not many of them that have this type of speed. I mean, the Tyreek Hill kind of speed, the Henry Ruggs kind of speed. I mean, there's not many of those guys in the NFL that have that caliber of speed. Yeah. And now another one is going to be, well, it looks like out of the league.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a big loss for the organization because it's sudden, it's unexpected. Players in that locker room, you're losing a teammate right there. I think the biggest thing that you can do for Henry Ruggs right now off the field is giving him whatever support that you can. And I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if in this situation, because I've never really heard of it from a player, going through this. I mean, I don't know if you cut ties with the player if you're the organization. I don't know if you kind of stick by him through the whole process and have your resources help him. I have no idea what that looks like. But from a football standpoint, yeah, it's obviously it's a huge loss, and just the unexpectedness of it is it can't be undefined.
Yeah, I mean you can send a shockwave through the locker room on something like that on top of the Gruden stuff already. I mean the Raiders, holy cow,
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, those players in the locker room, by the way, haven't created any of this. Ruggs just 22 years old, and he will be charged with a felony of DUI resulting in death in what they called was a fiery crash this morning in Las Vegas. And, I mean, doesn't the NFL offer, like, free Uber and all that stuff? They have all these ways of avoiding this.
For sure.
I mean, this is such a bad decision for anybody. Anybody. It's a bad decision. Mm-hmm. It's the worst decision, one of the worst decisions you can make as a human being, to get behind the wheel after drinking. For the NFL players, they have done so much to try to avoid these situations, the NFLPA, the NFL, that they have services set up for this very reason, so a guy doesn't get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, listen, I mean, you're in season, too. I mean, this is like I'm not saying guys don't drink or anything in season, but it's a late Monday night into Tuesday, which would be an off day for most teams.
Yeah.
But, man, Uber, Lyft, whatever it is, any kind of – they all exist out there for these NFL guys. That just magnifies how poor of a decision this was by him and now cost somebody their life and probably Henry Ruggs' career.
Yeah, there's so many resources built up for players to have free rides and all of this, but at the end of the day, you have to want to use them. And it's one thing to talk about. It's one thing to sit in front of the team and say, hey, if you ever get caught in a pickle or you can't drive, give this number a call, come scoop you up. Yeah, that's great and everything when you're meeting. But when a player or even a coach, because I'm reminded of Andy Reid's son who got in trouble for kind of necessarily the same thing last year during the playoffs. When you're in that situation, you aren't really thinking about that. You're just thinking about what and hey, these are my keys, that's my car, I'm going home. And that meeting that you had where you're talking about what to do if you're in the situation, it doesn't even cross your mind. So it's a horrible story. It's just there's not much more you can say about it. Henry Ruggs made a huge mistake, and he's going to live with this for the rest of his life.
Yeah, life-altering.
And it's ruined his career.
And it does remind, somebody says, Dante Stallworth, and that's kind of the guy that comes to mind, right? Yeah. That's the most recent, I forget how long ago that was now, but really a very good wide receiver in the NFL for a long time, and similar type of situation. So it's an awful story in the NFL. The NFL statement basically was condolences and thoughts and everything with the family of the person who passed, and rightfully so. Not a lot on the Ruggs part of the situation, as they probably will now investigate. I mean, you do wonder with some of these things, like how. Again, we talk from a football perspective after we talk about the life perspective of this. And the Raiders, I mean, how much can you deal with? I mean, and this impacts you on the football field. I don't know. This impacts you maybe even more, but if you lose this guy, then does John Gruden. I mean, your coach, you lose your coach, you lose that relationship with Derek Carr. Yep. Carr was coming along, but Carr still played well without Gruden. Yeah. But will he play well without Ruggs is kind of an interesting question to ask yourself now. And where do the Raiders go here? Just from a psyche standpoint. From a mental standpoint. I mean, these guys I'm sure there's a bunch of guys really close with Ruggs on that team. Yeah. And now all these questions, again, so far outside of football. It's a game at the end of the day, and life is bigger than it. And they're going to find that out in Las Vegas now in that locker room once again, unfortunately. All right, we are live at Topgolf. Tuesdays at Topgolf. Where do the Jags go, if anything? Could they do anything today on the trade deadline? Would you consider pulling the trigger, or does it just not make sense when you're 1-6? Does it make sense to get rid of anybody? Do they have a piece that anybody else would want that they might not feel like is part of it long term? I think you could go with a couple of options.
There's a few guys out there.
I just don't know even if that makes sense, because some might be on offense and you want to keep the rookie protected on offense.
Okay.
I'll give you a little hint there.
I like it.
And one I think could be floated around on the defensive side of things, but I think it would be a mistake. We'll talk about it. Tuesdays from Topgolf, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. It's a trade deadline day in the NFL. We talk more NFL. We talk rookie quarterbacks. And, we talk World Series. Game 6 coming up on ESPN 690 later tonight. It's all on the way.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy skies overnight, dropping into the mid-50s. It'll be a partly to at times mostly sunny and mild Tuesday with afternoon highs in the mid-70s. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save up to 41% off during Beard's anniversary sale.
Injuries on the job can cause you to lose control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Money is not coming in and your medical bills are piling up. Our legal team is here to help. We can help you file all your workers' compensation claims to make sure you get the proper benefits you're entitled to. If you've been injured on the job, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Hey, you were supposed to be here 10 minutes ago.
Boss, I'm a little freaked out right now.
What's wrong?
It's Safe Touch Security and their video monitoring systems. They're popping up everywhere.
Oh, for a minute you had me worried.
Boss, my next-door neighbor's got Safe Touch video monitoring, the place across the street's got it, and now I notice there's one next door to the one across the street.
Keep it together now.
Boss, I'm surrounded. It's never been more dangerous to be a crook.
Whoa, easy. Look, you're not planning to break into your neighbor's house, are you?
Well, no.
Problem solved. Don't steal their TV and everything will be fine.
Okay. Yeah, that makes me feel better.
Oh, good. But when we're working, we still gotta stick to the Crooks Are Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah.
Now get over here. We got work to do. Now, for a limited time, the Safe Touch Advantage plan includes free equipment and installation for new customers with an Advantage monitoring agreement. The Safe Touch doorbell camera, a $200 value, can be added for just $99. Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue. And it is at Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Open 7 days a week. Try the smoked wings, southern sides, and big old platters. Trivia night and kids eat free specials during the week. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all events. Order online and skip the line. Visit williejewells.com to see other locations in Florida and Georgia, Yulee to St. Augustine, Brunswick and Kingsland. Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Smoked for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jewell's.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough, and the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you, so you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-664-0353. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-664-0353 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-664-0353 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-664-0353.
For 50 years, Taylor has been a leader in caring for the elderly. Providing quality, compassionate care has always been our mission. At Taylor Care Center and Taylor Manor, our recipe for success has always been our exceptional team. They work tirelessly to ensure that your family member gets the best care possible. When residents were not able to spend time with you and your family, our team stepped up to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions. Our dedicated staff is among the best in the business. Taylor Residents, providing safe, compassionate care every day.
Camrys, Corollas, RAV4s, Tundras, and more. When you're ready to buy a new Toyota, you've got to get to Arlington Toyota. At Arlington Toyota, they've got 300 new Toyotas available, plus interest rates as low as 0% on over 10 new Toyota models. 0%. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And every new car purchase gets a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Shop arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/November for full details.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of stuff we just got to go back and watch the game and really just be honest with ourselves and make some corrections and just move forward. I know I didn't play good enough today, and as an offense, we just weren't clicking. So a lot of things go into that. I think it's really just taking accountability for everyone's part and what went wrong. And, you know, for me, third and fourth down, I think I had 2 missed throws on third down and 1 on fourth down. So it's, you know, guys that are open and not giving them a catchable ball. Like that's, you know, all on me. So those are 3 right there.
That is Trevor Lawrence. I love that soundbite. He took accountability right after he does that, you know, and I think being honest with ourselves is important because if you listen to the rest of the postgame after Seattle, I don't think the Jags were being honest with themselves. Now, that's immediately following the game. You're trying to cling to something positive in a really dismal day. I'm not, like, trying to hammer them for that. I just hope that when they got back or on the flight back or yesterday in meetings and tomorrow they like, okay, who cares if we held them to 70 yards in the second half? Yeah. They weren't trying. They were melting down the clock and running the ball. All right, just acknowledge that. Where I think Trevor was way more, listen, we stunk. You know, we know it, and we have to look at the tape and say, we stunk. And tell you, man, this kid should talk like 5 times a week. He'd make everybody in Jacksonville feel better. And I shouldn't even call him a kid because, he's so well beyond his years that it's incredible to watch. It's good that he's in Jacksonville. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz, Tuesdays from Top Golf. We do this every Tuesday. Josh Scobie will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. And you can, too. Come on out. Good crowd here at Top Golf today. So come on out each and every Tuesday. By the way, Derrick Henry had surgery, and it was successful, went well, according to reports. The Raiders on the Ruggs situation have issued a statement. The Raiders are aware of an accident involving Henry Ruggs that occurred this morning in Las Vegas. We're devastated by the loss of life, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the victim's family. We're in the process of gathering information. We'll have no further comment at this time. Pretty similar to what the NFL issued a statement in a similar fashion. Trade deadline is today. We're going to talk rookie quarterbacks in a moment. But I don't see the Jags. The Jags aren't making a trade for anybody.
You think so?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'd be stunned. And watch, it'll come down in like a minute.
Yep.
But, I don't see anybody that, what are you trying to do? 1-6. Yeah. Are you trying to make a playoff push? No. Are you trying to make your team better for right now? Probably not. You probably think the value of those draft picks are more than you can. We discussed this a couple weeks ago. Could you try to go get a speed guy, a Will Fuller, take a chance that he might be healthy?
Yeah.
One of those, or an Isabella that you might see as part of it down the road, right? This is the only 2 ways to go. Hey, let's see what this looks like and help our quarterback as much as possible, continue to grow. It's important to get to 4 or 5 wins this year for our psychology rather than 1 win or 2 wins. I think there is something to that. But then I think the other way to look at it is a guy like Isabella, if you really like him and you think, hey, this guy comes in, let's utilize him, and then he might be a part of it for the next couple of years, someone we think could be a part of it. I don't know how many guys are like that out there on the NFL market, and I don't think that's many.
Well, they're on good teams, because obviously the teams that have the good receivers aren't going to trade them because they're trying to win the playoffs.
Yeah.
So essentially when you're talking about teams to trade with, it's usually teams that have lower-tier offenses that don't have any wide receivers that really even look appealing unless it's deep down in the depth like Arizona has with Isabella.
So then the other way to go about this is, okay, you're a team that's struggling, not doing well, so you trade away some so you can get more chess pieces in the game for next year in the draft and everywhere else.
Yeah.
Well, the Jags have 12 picks. 2 years ago they had 12 picks. Last year they had 11 picks. Now they have 12 picks. You know what? I'm tired of seeing the Jags draft. I'm really tired of it, especially since they haven't drafted very well, quite frankly, with all those picks. I'd rather them take 4 draft picks and draft well. But I just don't. So would you let go of anybody? Contractually, they have a couple of big contracts outside of the guys they just brought in. Miles Jack's a decent contract. He's a valuable piece, I think. I think he could make teams really good in some spots. I think you look at Andrew Norwell. He's got due a lot of money, but I think they already restructured. I don't know if he's a part of the future. Norwell might make some sense to move for a team that might need a left guard that's in contention, but then you eat away at your own offensive line, and you got to keep your guy upright. That's been the quote down there.
Yeah.
And so I think it hurts Trevor Lawrence's development if you do that, because you don't have anyone you're just going to stick in there. Walker Little's not going to move to guard, I don't think.
No.
So those are the 2 that I look at and say, okay, those would make some sense, but I don't think I would do either one. I want Miles Jack around. You don't have enough good players on defense. I want as many as I can. And quite frankly, I don't want to change my offensive line that looked really bad last week and make it even worse.
No, for sure. So on the offensive line, the only one that I can actually foresee happening would be Norwell just because of how much money you are paying him. But do you have a plan in mind to replace him? You probably don't. And the most important job this season now, let's be honest, you're not going to the playoffs, so it's got to keep Trevor Lawrence healthy for next season. So I'm doing everything in my power to do that. So I'm trying to keep my offensive line intact and trying to keep Trevor Lawrence upright. So Andrew Norwell, trading him away doesn't do much for me. With Miles Jack, you can make an argument because, he hasn't really flourished like we thought he was going to in this defense. We haven't really said his name too much. We haven't seen a lot of standout plays from Miles Jack in this 3-4.
Yeah.
One could argue this defense was playing better when he was out against Miami. One could say that.
Yeah. Small sample.
It's a small sample, and I also think that if you let go of a guy like Myles Jack and you trade him away, is he the longest tenured Jaguar now?
He's close.
Okay.
No, I mean, Linder would be.
Linder,
I think.
but then.
Yeah, and even A.J. Cann's up there.
Shatley. But, I mean, he's. Shatley. Oh, yeah, Shatley's been here for a decade now?
8 years, yeah.
But you're going to lose that core guy on your defense. That's might be the oldest tenured Jaguar on defense.
Now that, I think you're right.
Yeah. And we've seen this story play out before when you let guys like Darryl Smith go, when you let guys like Mercedes Lewis go, and you try to rebuild and you try to start anew. You saw what happened there with the Gus Bradley era. Now, I'm not saying Myles Jack is Darryl Smith, but I just think, in terms of experience, in terms of leadership, which I think he brings both those in that locker room, you want to try to maintain those guys because this thing's got to be rebuilt, I think. This isn't going to be just, a couple draft picks here, free agent signing here will be okay. No, I mean, this defense right now is one of the worst in the NFL, and a lot of that comes with personnel, and that's got to be addressed.
Yeah, but the Jags have done this in the past to that point. Jags have rebuilt it in a year. Vegas is showing they have rebuilt theirs in basically a year. The Dallas Cowboys are showing they've rebuilt theirs in a year. So you can do it.
Okay,
if you have some parts that stay.
But how did the Jaguars do it after rebuilding in a year? What would happen the next year after that?
Well, I mean, that's a different part of the story.
I'm saying, are we trying to go for 2017, or are we trying to go for the long run here and actually have some kind of longevity?
Well, that's fine. Obviously, there's longevity. I'm just saying you can fix your when you say rebuild the entire defense.
Yeah.
It can be done in an off season.
Sure.
If you have some parts,
you can throw the checkbook at some free agents and say, come on over. But I'm saying, in terms of longevity, does that always work out? And I would point to 2017 and say, absolutely not.
No, it doesn't, or it hasn't. We'll see with Vegas and others if it can. I just think the Jags have very few blue chip caliber players on their defense, especially, but on their team. Mm-hmm. I think Josh Allen and Myles Jack have the ability and athleticism and everything else to be those kind of guys.
Yeah.
They have been inconsistent at being those guys, but they've shown signs that they can be those kind of guys. But your point about the 3-4 is now that he's back inside, does just not a fit, And I think that's fair. They have to, again, answer those questions. They have to be honest with themselves and answer that question. I mean, do we get a third rounder for Myles Jack or whatever? Is that more valuable? Because he's never going to thrive in our system, and then we'll save more money anyway, and we'll get another player in free agency next year. I don't know.
Well, and here's the thing about Myles Jack as well, where I was the big proponent of saying he will thrive in this defense because you can move him around. You can do a lot of things with him. You can put him on the outside. You can blitz him. I haven't seen a lot of Myles Jack blitzing on the outside. I haven't seen a lot of Myles Jack blitzing in general. I've been seeing a lot of Myles Jack just playing a run-of-the-mill middle linebacker, and, that I don't think is really his forte. I think a guy that runs sideline to sideline, that uses athleticism, I think you got to take full advantage of that.
Yeah, they don't seem like they have set him up to be as good as he can be over the years. And the 1 year they did would have been last year, and moved him to that weak side, and he thrived. He was tremendous. I thought he played at a Pro Bowl caliber level.
Yeah.
So they just can't seem to figure it out. Hey, let's do the rookie report card right now if we can, Casey. And we only have a few quarterbacks. Of course, Zach Wilson's been out. Trey Lance is hardly playing, and we begin, of course, with Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence had, I think you would say, his first two games were not very good.
No.
But I felt like, in a weird way, this was his, not statistically worst game, but his most out of sync game.
Yeah.
That I saw. Against Houston, he made some poor decisions and bad mistakes, and he threw it way too many times. But he also, really looked like, as the game went along, hey, man, I saw that play. I saw that throw. I saw this. I saw this. I could have picked out a lot of plays. Denver even, those were sketchy, 14-33. It wasn't great. But, again, I thought I saw, I saw a couple things where I'm grabbing onto, and that was early. And then we see a month of progression. We see some good play the last 3 weeks. And then we get this one where everything was off for the Jags. Offense, defense, coaching, special teams. It all was bad.
Yeah.
And Trevor was not that good either. I remember tweeting, Trevor's pretty bad today. No. I think we just have to be honest. He's not that good. I mean, the 4th and 3 that he talked about, the lining people up. There were the first time in a long time we've seen lining up was an issue in getting the snap off.
Yeah. Yeah, what'd you give him?
I got him a C-.
Yeah, in the C range, still passing. I gave Trevor Lawrence a D+. at the end of the day, it doesn't make me feel good about it giving you a D or a D+, but when you have the lowest QBR of the week, you're getting a D+, at least.
Is that what his QBR was the lowest?
Yeah, the lowest QBR of the week.
Yeah.
Out of every quarterback.
I still don't understand the QBR.
I know it's not good.
I know.
I mean, and you saw it. I mean, there wasn't a lot of plays that made you go, oh, wow. He looked a little discombobulated up there, in terms of the delay of games. I mean, that's got to fall on him as well. So you got to hold that guy accountable. D+ it is.
Yeah, I think the only thing that there's two things, actually. One, I thought they were also bad around him, too. Sure. Like sometimes you'll be like, hey, they're pretty good, and you held them back. I continue to think that the offense and some of the drops and some of the offensive line play is holding Trevor back and not allowing him to overcome or be better. And he wasn't able to do that. At times he has been able to do that a little bit. The other thing is I don't think that was his fault on the interception. And outside of that, it's not like he had 4 turnovers in the game. No. That's why I didn't go even worse with the grading system. All right, Zach Wilson's been out. Trey Lance, did he even play much? I didn't even give him a grade this week.
I don't think he played that much.
Yeah,
no, because Jimmy Garoppolo's running the football.
Yeah, Garoppolo's running. They're a weird team, but they figured it out in the second half there.
Got it done.
Yep. Justin Fields. Okay, so they lose again. Mm-hmm. This is another team where I feel like I'm grading Justin Fields higher because he's surrounded by garbage, including some bad coaching at times. Mm-hmm. And I saw the one play where he made the highlight reel play, right?
Oh,
the run was unbelievable.
It was probably the most impressive play of a rookie this year.
I think so.
Say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that automatically catches your attention.
Yes.
But I think overall, he was okay. He was pretty good. I gave him a B+ even in the loss. I just think, again, he has very little help. Kind of what Trevor has some help sometimes, especially if James Robinson's playing.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, to me, and Zach Wilson have very little help around them, and I think that showed up again. But they rolled him out. When they moved the pocket, I thought they did a better job. I think Trevor and the Jags have to think about moving the pocket a little bit more, too.
Yeah, they finally got creative on offense, and it showed. You set him up for a little more success. 19 for 27, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 103 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, 2 fumbles. None of those fumbles were lost. I gave Fields a B. You didn't win the game, but that's pretty much the grade that you're going to get when you do everything right and you do everything to help your team win. Unfortunately, it just didn't go their way. San Francisco at the end, their offense was just too much for that Bears defense, who's kind of struggling now, which is kind of their calling card the past couple of years. But overall, a much better day for Justin Fields.
When you say good defenses in the NFL, Chicago doesn't even come to mind anymore.
No.
Right? They don't even I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess at times they can be pretty good. And they can be at times, but they're not dominant, and they're not consistently good either. Mac Jones. Mac Jones gets a win out west. This is a weird game and a weird one to grade. They got a pick 6. They confused Justin Herbert. This was like a better grade for Belichick and the defense, especially a Belichick defense that has given up a lot of passing yards.
Yep.
And so they have adjusted, which they always do, which I don't understand why every team in the NFL can't put a different game plan together, can't just get big, high IQ guys to figure it out, less star guys, and that's what the Patriots have, and that's what Belichick does, and they adjust, and they hardly look the same week to week because of it. Sometimes they swing and miss, and they look terrible, like against Dallas. But sometimes they look really good against the Chargers, and they can still confuse young quarterbacks, and that's what they did. But Mac Jones, it was like 4 field goals. And what I had a problem with Mac this time around, and this is an offense that's built on 70% completion percentage dumping off. He was like 18 to 35.
He was.
I got the W. So he did enough to give him in field goal range, didn't make mistakes, really didn't do any. You almost hardly didn't even know he played in the game.
Yep.
But I gave him a B.
So I gave Mac Jones a C+ because to me it was the most vanilla stat line of all time. 18 for 35, 217 yards, and no touchdowns. Had one nice deep ball to Nelson Aguilar. Everything else, was kind of basic Mac Jones type stuff. So, overall, you won the football game, so that's why I gave you a C+, because usually those are C numbers right there. But you won the game, C+, didn't turn the ball over, you did what was asked of you. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, by the way, a vanilla stat line. And that's okay sometimes, especially if you're getting it done on the defensive side.
Yeah, as long as you're winning, I got no issues with that.
Davis Mills, we have to continue to grade him.
Yeah.
And I forget what I put because I really don't care about Davis Mills.
By the way, Mike White, A+. I don't even know who he is. I know he's not a rookie, but I mean, he's kind of is a rookie to me because I've never heard of him before. So A+ for Mike White.
Yeah, A+. That would have been A+ for Mike White. You know, how does a guy come out and do that? It's so hard to play the position
against the Bengals defense.
I mean, how does a guy do that? You know, and it makes you really wonder.
And Corey Davis was out.
Yeah, it's a weird game sometimes. You know, Davis Mills. He had a big fourth quarter, but he did nothing in the first 50 minutes of the game. I can't sign up for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what I gave him, C- something.
Okay. I gave Davis Mills a C+, 29 for 38, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yeah, you did absolutely nothing in the first half. But overall, I mean, 29 for 38, like you can't deny that. So whether it was more of the play calling or trying to run the ball with, you know, guys who are having trouble running the ball right now, whatever the case may be, you can't deny the numbers even if it is garbage time. I basically gave you the best grade that I could out of, you know, you playing horrible in the first half with nothing and getting garbage time. So Davis Mills, I gave him a C+.
All right. Casey, how many points would Davis Mills have had? Because he had like 310 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Like how many points in fantasy? Because that was a Jalen Hurts day if I've ever seen one. Nothing for 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden, boom, in the fourth, although Jalen Hurts didn't really do that this week.
No, he didn't do it. He's handing the ball off a lot.
He did just hand it off. How many points would Mills have got?
Well, I mean...
Not that anybody's playing Davis Mills, right?
Well, I'm sure somebody has to at some point in time. So if you were to play Davis Mills this week, you would have got 20.4 points.
How about that?
Which is more than
Daniel
Jones for sure. And probably Ryan Tannehill as well, who I have in my other leagues. Go ahead, throw Carson Wentz in there, and all the other quarterbacks that I could ever potentially own.
Mike White had 26 points, by the way.
Do you want to trade Travis Kelce?
Ooh.
For what?
I don't know. I'm just after last night's performance, I might want to get rid of him.
No, no.
Double teams, man. They did a great job taking him away.
They did. Double
Giants
teams,
were saying,
fumbles.
He fumbled. That didn't help anything either. But, yeah, the Giants were not going to let Travis Kelce beat him. That was obvious.
I got a question about defense for you that I think a lot of people are doing, and now I'm starting to think the Jags are behind the curve again. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Tuesdays from Top Golf rolls on. Question about the Jags defense versus the rest of the NFL. It's next.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, 0 heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. 0 heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
What's your ultimate game day experience? A tricked-out man cave? Deluxe tailgate? Then enter the 5-Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes for a chance to win $10,000 and make your ultimate game day experience a reality. To enter, buy any 5-Hour Energy product and upload the receipt. It's that easy. The 5-Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes. Enter today.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 and a legal resident of the U.S. Ends December 10th, 2021. For official rules and how to enter without purchase, visit 5hesport.com. Void where prohibited.
Temperatures keep climbing, and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with the Connecticut system, proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Bozard Ford, Ford's Garage, and ESPN 690 are proud to present Be the Sun, Not the Salt Community Award.
Do you know any coaches, teachers, or mentors who are doing all the good they can in the community and should be recognized and rewarded for being positive energizers and making a difference? Are they kind, authentic, compassionate, and positive? Then tell us why they deserve to be recognized. You and your nominee can win free stuff just for being sunny, not salty.
Details and nomination forms are available on ESPN 690's website. Powered by Be the Sun, Not the Salt, Bozard Ford, Ford's Garage, and Cox Media Group.
Just be in control. With free interest checking and great digital tools, Community First makes smarter banking simple. Add an account at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA.
Do you have a passion for sales? Are you known for building strong relationships? Do you love to compete and win? CMG Jacksonville is searching for a talented individual to join our family as a media consultant. This position will require a committed person who will forge great relationships with Jacksonville's business leaders and develop profitable campaigns for advertisers. If your talents are a match, email your resume to jaxjobs@cmg.com. That's JAXJOBS@cmg.com or call 245-8732.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
There's no way that's used. Get ready, because you're going to hear that a lot after you buy an amazing, like-new, pre-owned from our friends over at Arlington Toyota. Arlington's got 300 used available. All makes, all models. Plus, you'll buy with total confidence thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange program that comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
You love Zoom for video meetings? Now, choose Zoom to power your phone communications too. Zoom Phone works seamlessly within the Zoom app as your business phone system. Zoom Phone's secure HD audio and enterprise-grade reliability keep you connected to your teams and your customers. And it's easy to use on mobile, desktop, or desk phone. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Zoom, how the world connects.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
We had Miles come back. We self-scouted. Yeah, it is. Like I said, I really felt we had a decent week of practice. Thought the attitudes were fantastic going into it. Obviously, it just didn't start well, and then that second quarter just got us in trouble.
All right, it's Urban Meyer. I've got a question about the Jags defense in a moment. Tuesdays from Top Golf, Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz. Let's get Steven on the line real quick. Jump in. Steven, what's happening here on a Tuesday?
Hey, not too much. How about you guys? How you doing?
We're fantastic. What you got?
I wanted to get your opinion on an idea I was thinking about, because one of my biggest concerns of this coaching staff has been, and I know Brent brought it up before, is player evaluation. Like, some of it just seems like maybe evaluating isn't that good. But my thought, and I wanted to get your opinion, is maybe this week nobody expects us to beat the Bills. Nobody in the state of Florida or in the who watches NFL. Nobody expects it. So I was thinking maybe they should consider maybe an evaluation week. I mean, you bubble wrap and get the most expensive Dr. Scholl's has to offer for James Robinson, and you sit him this week and try and get him 100%. Maybe even consider, because the only thing I could say good about Jay Gruden last year was at least he tried Laviska Shenault the way he was at college. Run him out of the backfield, kind of in that third down back roll, or even running out of the backfield. Maybe do a little bit of that with them. Bring up maybe Josh Hammond or Cotton or whatever and try and see what you got. Get Jordan Smith out there. I want to see what we have in him. And maybe even Walker Little and Cisco, like I said, because nobody expects us to win this game.
Yeah, that's
and
a good
I just
point.
want to see what we have for the future.
That's an
I really
interesting
do.
point. Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Appreciate it. I hear what you're saying. I'm not sure week 9 of the NFL season and game 8 for the NFL season is for that kind of stuff. Now, we might get to a point in the last month of the year where it is for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. I think everybody wants to see this defense with Cisco, you know?
Yes.
The Walker Little stuff is whatever to me. He'll eventually play.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't want to see Walker Little if he's not ready. Like, don't use this time to evaluate him, because the last thing you want to see is Trevor on his back.
Absolutely.
And if he doesn't give you the best opportunity to keep Trevor upright, then don't put him in during a game.
I think the one guy in this context I would, if you know what, it gets beat for an 80-yard touchdown, so what, is Cisco. Because you have no turnovers. You can't get turnovers. He can't be that bad. Or you really did evaluate poorly. Your upgrade over Wingard. I could tell right now, Cam Robinson, you might have a more upgradable thing than Walker Little, because it's a known commodity. I can't say the same for Wingard again, and I'm not even bashing Wingard like a lot of people do. I think he's played way better than people would even give him credit for, quite frankly. It's more I want to see Cisco. I asked you this in the commercial break. You look at that defense last night for the Giants. You look at what people are doing against the Chiefs, who could not be stopped. They're dropping like 7-8 guys.
Yep.
That's what they're doing.
Well, they're dropping 7-8 guys, but they're also getting after the quarterback with 3 guys.
And they're able to get off with 3 or 4. I understand that.
Yeah.
Geno Smith the other day. I listened to Peyton Manning in those Manning cast, man. He's like, hey, the defense I don't want to see is a zone. What I hate to see is when they drop 8. If that's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, why are the Jags playing man so much? Why are they blitzing so much? Why they're not that talented? Would they be better off doing more zone than what they're doing?
I don't think right now, in terms of playing zone coverage, it's all about communication. It's all about having high IQ and playing with confidence. Does that describe this defense right now?
Nah, that's the thing. Like, I'm not trying to say guys are dumb, okay?
No, I'm not saying that at all
this
either.
looks like through 7 games a defense that does not have great football IQ.
No, and you have seen when they had played zone coverage, like they just, for whatever reason, they can't figure out passing guys off, who takes who, and guys become wide open, and that's not what zone coverage is. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, because man coverage, obviously they're getting burnt because I think the skill set's just not there, and on zone coverages, you don't have the communication to keep up. So it's a problem right now.
Yeah, I would say this. I brought it up earlier. Vegas and Dallas are 2 examples of teams that overnight fix their defenses. You can do it in an offseason. The Jaguars are going to have to do it in the offseason. They don't have enough fixes right now to change things the way they're going. It could be ugly on Sunday against Josh Allen and the Bills. We'll be back. Tuesdays from Top Golf continues with more looks around the NFL, including the trade deadline about to hit at 4 o'clock. It's on ESPN 690.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In the mid-'90s, I bought a piece of land in Austin with a credit card check and built the very first micro-distillery in the history of the state of Texas. I'd never built a still before, so I did some research and designed and built my own pot stills based on Prohibition-era bust photos I found in the library. I didn't know then that this was kind of the start of the American craft distilling movement, right here in Austin, Texas. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jacks, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts: jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wing Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wing Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jacks.
Hi there. I'm Mia. I'm Air.
You're Air?
Yeah. I just got out of the lungs of someone smoking a cheap little cigar outside a bodega. Oh, it was so smoky in there. And where there's smoke, there's
fire.
Cancer.
Oh.
Yeah. Little cigars might taste sweet, but they still kill. I'm supposed to be helping people, not unhelping them.
You mean hurting?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm a bit of an airhead.
Little cigars are just as dangerous as regular cigarettes. Find out how to quit today at tobaccofreeflorida.com.
For the ones who are always in the know.
Delivery confirmed.
For the ones who keep things running. For the innovators and the problem solvers. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, experienced staff at local branches, and free access to experts to help answer your toughest questions. So whatever challenge you face, we have the knowledge and products to help. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sick of big banks drawing money out of Jacksonville? Want your money to stay here and help local folks? At One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, all of our capital is invested back into Northeast Florida. This includes our all-new hometown credit card. You get all the rewards and perks of a big bank, and every swipe invests back in Jax. Get 2 points for every dollar, up to 50,000 bonus points, 24/7 fraud protection, pay with points, and tons more. Support your community with a hometown credit card from One-to-One Financial. Apply at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA, a proud Visa partner.
From city streets to back roads, from road warrior to carpooler, there are some things you can always count on, like the reliability, durability, and power of DieHard, America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on DieHard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
Today's pros need today's tools, and nobody understands that better than the Home Depot. Our app makes it simpler to get supplies ordered and delivered. Our online project calculators cut guesswork and last-second supply runs. Job site delivery puts what you need where and when you need it. And rental puts the right equipment in your hands, but not your overhead. That's how today's pros get more done. New tech, new tools, old-fashioned hard work. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Car crash early this morning in Las Vegas that left a woman in the other vehicle dead, according to Las Vegas Metro Police. Ruggs will be charged with DUI resulting in death. As the deadline passes on this NFL trade deadline day, quarterback Deshaun Watson staying with Houston. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Dolphins did their due diligence but opted not to make a trade for Watson today. The Browns holding on to receiver Odell Beckham Jr. According to ESPN's Diana Rossini, they didn't receive any offers that would have made sense for the organization. A trade would have actually been better for Cleveland, believes ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum.
Look at last year and this year, they've played better without him. And when you have guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jarvis Landry, Higgins, you're going to free up a lot of cap space. You have a lot of good young players like Denzel Ward that maybe you can extend. And then next year, there's a lot of free agent receivers, guys like Chris Godwin, Devonte Adams.
Former USC coach Clay Helton has agreed to a deal to become the next football coach at Georgia Southern, according to ESPN's Adam Rittenberg.
Sign up with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, and use code CJR to get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs this week with your first deposit. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I knew sometime it was coming. You waited a long time. I mean, last year at this time I'm on the couch. So I think it was, I've counted the games where I've dressed and prepared and didn't get in. It's up around 50, I think. But so you just knew it was coming. You had to be patient. And I think all that preparation, all the, being in it still, even though you haven't started, really helped. Came through tonight, and making plays and stuff like that.
Well, I think that's Mike White from the New York Jets. That's my guess.
Ooh, so close.
No? Who else started in Simeon?
Well, no. I'll give you a hint. Everybody picked against him except this guy right here in the picks. Oh goodness gracious! It's Cooper Smith? Rush.
Oh, Cooper.
Rush. Cooper Rush.
All right.
I picked the Cowboys.
Redhead's a good name everywhere.
It was an amazing week, really, if you think about it from the quarterback situation. I mean, the guys that won, right? Geno Smith, Cooper Rush, Trevor Simeon beat Tom Brady, and Mike White beat the Bengals and Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's been a week like that, but that is about as obscure as you can get from an NFL
the quarterback
win.
Position's that important, I'm kidding, obviously, but yeah, it was an insane result. Insane result.
Yeah, it's. I'm trying to even think. Like the crazy part about that. Like especially the Tampa win, didn't make a lot of sense for the Saints. I mean, the Saints actually have defense, though, so I guess really the one that doesn't make the most sense is probably the Jets. I mean, the Jets stink, and they got a guy coming in, and he's whatever.
Yeah,
and he's able to throw for 400 yards against, like you said, a Cincinnati defense that's been pretty good all year long, and an offense that runs up and down the field. And, by the way, they blew the lead. Like, it was 31-20 with a few minutes to go in the game.
Mike White comeback. Mike White comeback season, just like we all predicted.
And meanwhile, the Jags can't beat or even stay close to a 2-5 team. I mean,
yeah,
not even close.
Yeah. Well, at least we still have the Detroit Lions to share misery with.
Yeah, and they did it against a very average team as well. So
careful now. I'm starting to make a run with the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Great handoffs for Jalen Hurts on Sunday.
Very good handoff. It was funny. It's like I looked up, it was like 44 points. I'm like, man, Jalen Hurts must have went off today. Nope, 103 yards passing, like 70 yards rushing. It's like weird. It was kind of a little bit like Mac Jones, like you 27-24 game, and you looked up and you had to go search the box score, and you're like, oh, 4 field goals. Like, how do you get to 27? 4 field goals, 2 touchdowns, and a 2-point conversion.
That'll get it done. It's a little scoregami coming out.
There is a little scoregami there as well. All right, Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz, 4 o'clock. We go around the league. NFL trade deadline has passed, and as Daniel Jeremiah just said, it's like, I love the NFL. I love NFL free agency. I love the NFL draft. I love the NFL offseason. I love NFL everything. Yeah. It's like the trade deadline sucks in the NFL, and it does. And they brought up the fact that
bombs?
They brought up the fact of compensatory picks, which is interesting, right? Because if you end up losing a guy in free agency or whatever, then you're going to get an extra pick added on. I mean, the value of picks is incredible in the NFL buildings, which makes it even more incredible that the Rams do what they do and give every one of them away.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been very adamant about what the Rams have done, and I've broke this down a couple of times. Now, I'm not saying it's the right way to go about business because they don't have a Lombardi trophy to show for it yet, but they are having some pretty good success right now, and they are one of the favorites in the NFC. But the Rams essentially saw a look at how it works in the draft when you bring a first-round guy in. Okay, so when you bring a rookie in, you're not going to get his best play right away. Well, you still got to pay him first-round money. So then one would think by the time he reaches that 3rd year or 4th year, when it's time to restructure a new deal, he's coming into his prime. So that way you have to you have to pay more money from his rookie deal, and now you're getting him in his prime on his 2nd deal, so that starts to add up after a while. And let's be honest, if you're talking about all your draft picks, there's no way you can keep all your draft picks in thinking like that. So what the Rams do is they say, okay, we're not going to have a lot of our first-round draft picks, throw some second rounds out there as well, and we're going to bring guys in their prime or just past their prime, and we're going to get the best football out of them. And when we're done with them, then we're going to cut them loose instead of having to be tied to signing them to a second-year deal. I don't think it's the worst scenario right now. Once again, they have no Lombardi trophy to show for it, so we'll see what happens in the next couple of years when, that they are so, player-driven and not so draft-heavy. But right now, the way it looks on paper, I don't think they're complaining about it.
Yeah, you would think that this will catch up with them at some point if they don't win. Now, if you win, you did it and you won, so that's fine.
Yes.
But to your point, but you would think that it could catch up to them. Now, when they have drafted, they've drafted well. Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell
Cam
you their
Akers.
Offensive linemen. So Cam Akers, who knows, right?
Well, but at the time though, he was
looks like he's
very
be
promising.
Good, right? Tyler Higbee is a draft pick of theirs.
Okay.
I believe if I have that correct. You look at Aaron Donald. He's been the staple and core player of their franchise since 2014. Who else am I getting here? There's a couple other guys. Taylor Rapp has played well for them at safety, along with the back end of Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
So they've mixed together a few good draft picks along the way, but their studs have been acquired from Leonard Floyd to Jalen Ramsey to now Von Miller.
Was Clay Matthews. Was
Andrew
Dante Fowler.
Whitworth.
Yep.
It was those guys. Now Matthew Stafford, of course. Sony Michel. Robert Woods.
Brandon Cooks when they had him.
Yeah, so you go, they've really tried that, and it's been good, and very few, by the way, like blockbuster picks. Aaron Donald's the one. Aaron Donald became the guy, and they did well with Goff as well. I guess what I ask you is, would you be mad if the Jags tried this route? Their draft picks have been kind of overall, their draft class has been overall terrible to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, trade some of them away and just go do this. Like, you have the quarterback. You think year 2 of Trevor Lawrence is going to be good. Go get some free agents and build around them with veteran guys that know the game well. Don't have to wait around for Andre Sisco to get better, or Tyson Campbell to get better.
Yeah.
Use those guys as depth, and then maybe one rises to the top, because you do have to compliment yourself somewhere along the way. But maybe the Jags should go this route. I'm telling you, man, I'm tired of the draft picks. It's going to be 35 draft picks in 3 years. 35 in 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the draft.
Well, and maybe you want to see them use some of those like later rounds and trade up more. Like package 3 6-round picks and trade up to a third round. I don't know how it works.
GMs. Listen, I know this wasn't going to happen, okay? But GMs get so they're like, how could you ever do this?
Mm-hmm.
Trade up and go get a Kyle Pitts by trading a boatload of your other picks that you had.
Yeah.
And you say, how could you do that? Well, if you did do that, you might have a guy that could change your offense and change your game and help change the league for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying it was feasible to do.
Yeah.
But I'm not even saying Atlanta would have done it.
Yeah.
But to go get guys that I look in this draft that Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts that everybody knew was going to be blockbuster good, would it have been worth doing that? Atlanta did that with Julio Jones. He had an unbelievable career in Atlanta.
Correct.
Now, they didn't win big, but it was unbelievable for Matt Ryan, that offense, their quarterback, everything they put around him. So,
yeah, but teams with Robert Griffin, well, that whole thing with what happened because wasn't there a huge trade?
Well, Robert Griffin, they gave away everything. But they gave it up to go get Robert Griffin, the quarterback.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, now that you have the quarterback, could you start going to accumulate players instead of picks?
Yeah. You can, but you didn't see the Rams start doing this until they kind of know they had, at least a decent roster and a good culture built.
That's good. That's true.
And you don't have that right now in Jacksonville. So if you had more certainty about what the future was going to look like, and maybe you're a couple players here or there away, then yeah, I would go after the Rams model and essentially lease these pro players, get a guy like Von Miller and say, hey, maybe you're here for a year or 2 years, whatever the case may be, but we just need, what you close to your prime or past your prime, but we need your best. And then, when it's done, then it's done. And you can wash your hands of everything. Just Jacksonville right now, from a team, from a culture standpoint, they don't have they just don't have the faculties to run that kind of operation.
Yeah, that's interesting. And almost now I'm starting to wonder do you have to go do that just to get the winning ways around here? I mean, just to learn how to win. They have so many young guys that just don't know how to do it. I feel like this defense right now would be better served under Joe Cullen and what they're trying to do with 6 or 7 moderate players that know what they're doing on defense, rather than a few guys that are young and might be good someday that don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. But let's look at Cincinnati real quick. What did Cincinnati do? Did they bring in some high-prize free agents that we're all talking about, saying, wow, that was one that put them over the edge? No, and I can't even name a lot of players on Cincinnati's defense. I mean, obviously on offense, they're very dynamic, and adding that first-round Joe Burrow, the number 1 pick overall, helped things as well, and Jamar Chase as well. But it's not like Cincinnati rewrote the book of how to take a team that was essentially what was lifeless, and now you injected life into them. They built through the draft. They got dynamic players. You got your quarterback, and you have some pretty good coaching.
Yeah.
That's the recipe, and every single team can do that. The Jaguars have the draft capital. They just can't pull the trigger on the right draft picks right now.
Well, the good thing is it looks like they've got the quarterback, and when you have the quarterback, you can start doing all these other things a lot easier. And even Rams did it the opposite way. Yeah. They got the quarterback they thought at first, but he really wasn't it. They built this roster up, and then they went and got the better quarterback. They even did that weird.
One would say that they got their coach.
Yeah,
because coming from Jeff Fisher, who was more of 8-8 every single year.
That's true too.
You get Sean McVay, and all of a sudden that whole thing just shifted.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 years it looks like the postseason, but it is Super Bowl or bust here for the Rams. I mean, they've got to win a Super Bowl too to validate all this. It's one thing to be good, and that's nice. It would be nice around here to be good for 4 out of 5 years. But the other thing is that you're doing all this and mortgaging a little bit of the future. Mm-hmm. You can always go back and get some of the picks, but probably not all of them. You're mortgaging a little bit of the future to try to win now. We'll see if the Rams can do it. All right, Casey, sorry I chewed up a lot of you around the NFL time.
That's okay. We're going to start with the transitive property. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then you might know where I'm going. So the question that I'm going to ask you is who is actually good in the NFL? But I'm going to do that by telling you that the Cowboys lost to the Bucks, who lost to the Saints, who lost to the Giants, who lost to the Broncos, who lost to the Browns, who lost to the Steelers, who lost to the Bengals, who lost to the Jets, who lost to the Patriots, who lost to the Dolphins, and who lost to the Jags. So who's actually good?
I would say the Cowboys are good because I think they've been consistent on defense, and I think they just won without Dak Prescott.
Yes.
And so when you can do that and still pull off a win against a Minnesota team that I think is pretty good, although I think he's a terrible coach, he's just proving that he's not a good coach because they just find ways to lose. And they are too talented on that team, especially on offense, to lose. So I think he's awful. But I would say Dallas is good. You know, I do think Buffalo is good, and they're coming to town. I think in the NFL you're going to lose some games like they lost to the Titans. You know, that place is jacked up on a Monday night. Like, you're not going to win every game.
Yep.
And so I would say they're good. I'll tell you another team I think is good is Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay just knows how to win. I don't think they're lights out good, like they're just going to roll people kind of good, that it felt like Kansas City used to be. And then lastly, I would say the Rams are good. I think I have a lot of confidence in the Rams. Arizona still scares me a little bit from time to time. Cincinnati, no way. I'm not there yet on them. The Raiders are in all sorts of weird stuff now. But I would pick, if I could pick 4 teams to ride with, I would tell you the Cowboys, the Packers, the Rams, and only one from the AFC, and that's the Bills.
Yeah, I think the Bills are good. I'm not sold on the Ravens are a good team. I'm not going to put them top 5 quite yet. Dallas is a good team. You can't deny that. They won with Cooper Rush. Green Bay, I think, is a great team, beating the Arizona Cardinals with literally nobody on offense. Tampa Bay is still a good team. I still think Arizona is a good team, and I'll take the Rams as well. So if you want to get my top 4, Rams, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, and Buffalo. So I'm matching Brent there, but yeah, I think those are the top 4 teams.
So you
right
leave
now.
Dallas out.
Yeah, I'll leave Dallas out. What the heck? I mean, if you want to go top 5, then Dallas is up there. Yeah, it's a fight for 5th place, but yeah, Dallas is top 5 for sure.
All right. One team we're no longer mentioning there is the Chargers, who get beat at home by the Patriots. Herbert turned it over a couple times. What are the Patriots and what are the Chargers?
The Patriots are a team that knows how to win and will find ways to win games like this, even though they're not as good as the Chargers. Like, I really just don't think the Patriots are great on paper. But Belichick has proven that he is, at the very least, a 500 kind of coach, even when he doesn't have great stuff. And that's a great spot for Mac Jones to be in, by the way. He's going to learn how to win early in the NFL. He's going to have a defense that will bail him out sometimes. He's not going to have to – he can have a vanilla stat line and still win, you know.
Yeah.
So he is in such a good position because of Belichick. And, again, there's this savvy about the Patriots and the guys they bring in, an IQ about those guys that know how to get it done. So I think they are as average as the day is long, the Patriots.
Okay.
But – you know, they're still probably good for 8 wins this year because they know how to coach up 8 wins.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers are trying to be like, they're a little like the Bengals. Can you get seasoned enough to win and win consistently and not have a flop kind of performance? And right now, I feel like for the first time maybe in his career, it seems like Herbert is in a little bit of a funk, which begs the question, are people figuring him out a little bit? So I think they have the potential to win that division. For sure, but I wouldn't put a lot of money on it until I see a little more out of the Chargers.
So who do I think the Chargers and the Patriots are after that game? I think the Patriots are who they've always been in terms of on defense, they find a way to take away your best playmaker. And that playmaker was Mike Williams from the Chargers. Now, what I learned about the Chargers, I learned that when Mike Williams gets taken away, yes, Keenan Allen is still serviceable, but he's not the Keenan Allen of old. He's not the Keenan Allen that can get you, all these explosive plays, 30 plays down the field. It's a guy that you put in the slot and you just kind of dink and dunk to him. Now, when you lose that big play capability, when you lose that deep threat, and you have, I think an old tight end in Jared Cook, that hurts Justin Herbert a little bit. If you can't take the top off, the Chargers look very, I don't want to say vanilla because they're better than vanilla, but they just look very just average. And that goes to show you just how valuable of a receiver Mike Williams is and how valuable speed can be in terms of running an offense. And you saw that against the Patriots. Like, they just had no answer to go deep because Mike Williams is getting double-teamed the entire day.
Something we did not talk about yesterday was Calvin Ridley and what happened with him. So before the game, it came out that he would not play for Atlanta on Sunday. He then issued a statement that said, "These past few weeks have been very challenging, and as much as I'd like to be on the field competing with my teammates, I need to step away from football at this time and focus on my mental well-being." What do you think of what Calvin Ridley did?
I think it's courageous to do it. I mean, that's a young guy who is I don't know exactly what's going on with him, but to have the wherewithal to kind of step back and hopefully salvage and save maybe his NFL career and maybe even deeper than that, I think it's a courageous thing to do. I think we're seeing more and more people willing to do it in all walks of life, and it's a really hard thing to do in sport, especially since you get paid a lot of money and there's a responsibility and there's a bravado and all of that stuff that goes into it. So I right now, I give him a lot of props. This is a good player, a talented football player. They need him, too, by the way, on the field to be successful. But I think it's a courageous move on his part, and I hope it pays off in a big way for him.
Yeah, as Marshawn once said, you got to take care of your chickens, you got to take care of your mentals, and Calvin Ridley is taking care of his mentals. I think, unfortunately, there's other players in this league who probably need a break as well, but they're probably not comfortable doing that because once you walk away, you don't have the job security to come back. Calvin Ridley is one of the better receivers in the NFL, so his job is going to always be there. So good for him for, listening to his body, taking control of it, and saying something's not right. I have to get that right. So I assume the organization's backing him up 100%, and we'll see what happens from there.
And obviously being teammates with Hayden Hurst, probably he can help Calvin Ridley a little bit with what he's going through. Let's go to the Colts. Carson Wentz, was that the worst thing you've ever seen? The left-handed interception that ended up costing them the game for the most part.
It was one of the worst things. You watched Daniel Jones?
We watched Bortles a couple of times around here throw off guys' feet, and helmets, and all that other stuff. So we've seen it before. That was, I don't know about Carson Wentz still. I mean, I know they're winning. Some of the numbers are good. We talked about this. The eye test is funky on Wentz.
Yeah.
It's just weird. And he seems to start to find a groove and then, boom, comes back. I thought he lost that game for him. I mean, some really brutal mistakes that you just can't make. And that was bad.
Yeah, it's weird. Out of this whole Carson Wentz experiment, he's lost them that game. But, then all of a sudden now, Michael Pittman is a legit one receiver. Yeah. And so it's crazy, how he kind of – I mean, and maybe the writing was on the wall, but, I didn't expect Michael Pittman to be as good as he is right now in his career. T.Y. Hilton gets hurt again. Who knows how long he's going to be out. That's a big loss to that offense. But this is a run-first team. This is a Jonathan Taylor type team. And it's almost to the point now where I don't want to call Carson Wentz a game manager, but, if you want to compete for a division, that's almost what they need him to do right now. Because when he drops back and he tries to make plays, it happens. It's more bad than good. So, yeah, it was a horrible showing, a horrible pass. I mean, game-changing pass in that end zone that gave up a touchdown. Not good. Not good.
So I only have one rapid fire here, and so take.
Can you really do a rapid fire with one though?
Okay, then it's it's overtime. Then how about that?
Okay,
Carson Wentz threw the interception, and we're in
last
overtime.
Fire.
I like it. OT.
So the situation is this: since Tom Brady joined the Bucs, he's 1-3 against the Saints, and the only game he won was in the playoffs, and Drew Brees turned it over 3 times. So the question is, why can't Tom Brady figure out what the Saints are doing to him on defense?
Yeah, I think it's a bad vibe. I think everybody in every sport has this stuff. I think you just don't feel great going against a team, a coach, in a venue, whatever it might be. They play him enough now in Tampa that he could probably figure it out. But it was interesting when he was on with Manning's last week on the Monday Night Football stuff. He brought up some of those Baltimore defenses, the Miami defenses early in his career that really gave him fits. And so I think everybody has that. I mean, everybody, if you play baseball, you have a pitcher that might not even be that great, and you can't figure him out. Then you have somebody else that you feel so good against, you can't wait to get to the batter's box.
Yeah.
I think there's reasons why Tiger Woods played the same courses over and over, and they pick their schedule because they love it there. They feel good there.
Yeah.
It just fits their eye, fits their game. So I think this is pretty common. really, across all sports. And it looks like the Saints right now are that to Brady.
Yeah, so, and they kind of mentioned this last night a little bit on the Peyton and Eli broadcast. And Saints love playing cover one against Tom Brady. And then they love crowding that line and saying, let's see if you can beat us or not. Now, it helps having a defensive line that can get home and bring Tom Brady down. But, it's not like they're reinventing the wheel of how to play Tom Brady. They're just playing a lot of man coverage, and they're jamming these receivers. Now, we talked about this before a little bit in terms of Mike Evans. Mike Evans, when he wants to be, is one of the best wide receivers in the league. But we put a guy like Marcus Lattimore, who is a very physical-type cornerback. Sometimes Mike Evans can go away a little bit. And when you have a big play, a taller receiver like that, that's your go-to guy when the pocket starts collapsing. Well, when you can't get the ball off to Mike Evans, that hurts you as well. So, yeah, the Saints have had Tom Brady's number. I think it's a lot of man coverage, which is kind of ironic because Peyton and Eli talk about how they love seeing man coverage. I don't think Brady likes man coverage. I think Brady prefers zone coverage.
That was it, as we discussed.
The NFL.
Well, I mean, so I have a question. So last night, how many people in the country watched the performance that Daniel Jones put on and thought, hey, you know what? Sean Payne should go after this guy right now?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
I'd rather have Daniel Jones than Trevor Siemian.
One person
made some beautiful throws in that game, too, again.
I'll tell you what, Taysom Hill would have made that interception, though. Taysom Hill would have threw out of that interception that Daniel Jones had.
That was a bad interception.
Woof. Woof.
I just
Not
wish.
a good look.
Here's what I don't understand, though. Late in that game, when they couldn't block anybody,
yeah,
this guy can move a little bit.
Yeah.
Why didn't they roll the pocket? They just sat him back there 4 straight times
to
get crushed.
I just don't feel like he didn't feel like hitting the prop bet last night for terms of over yards rushing.
What was it? What was it?
It was like 26, 27.
What did he have?
Not that.
12.
12. It's all good.
But
also, the guys coming off
ask
concussion.
about the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs.
What's up? Oh, yeah.
They're just average, right?
So when you say that, it's funny because when I put these things together, I always assume the stuff that we have talked about or will talk about before we get to it, and nobody brought up the Chiefs because they're trash, I guess.
It's okay. No, I just think they've lost their swagger, man. I mean, they got you can see it in Patrick Mahomes' eyes.
But but I mean, now when Patrick Mahomes just kind of floats it up and just kind of throws up a prayer. Now it's getting knocked down or it's almost intercepted.
You're right.
Like those before were Tyreek Hill for an 80-yard touchdown.
That's a great
Travis
call.
Kelce for a 70-yard touchdown. Like those plays aren't happening anymore.
When's the last time he threw a no-look pass?
No, for
certainly
sure.
not this year. He's looking.
Yes, he's looking. Maybe
We'll be back.
Look so much.
Tuesdays from Top Golf continues here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy skies overnight, dropping into the mid-50s. It'll be a partly to at times mostly sunny and mild Tuesday with afternoon highs in the mid-70s. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save up to 41% off during Beard's anniversary sale.
If you're like me, you come home from work and walk through a messy garage hurdling shoes and bats and bikes. Well, get the Easy Garage solution that I got. It's called Easy Garage Solutions. One-of-a-kind monkey bar technology that will last a lifetime. Hang the bikes and the lawn equipment. Easy Garage Solutions. Shelving and overhead storage for boxes and bins. Easy Garage Solutions. Cabinets and flooring available too. Easy Garage Solutions. Find them at EasyGarageSolutions.com. Easy Garage Solutions. It's that easy.
Smoke for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue. And it is at Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Open 7 days a week. Try the smoked wings, southern sides, and big old platters. Trivia night and kids eat free specials during the week. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all events. Order online and skip the line. Visit WillieJewells.com to see other locations in Florida and Georgia. Yulee to St. Augustine, Brunswick, and Kingsland. Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Smoke for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jewell's.
If you were lied to when buying a timeshare and want out, you need my help. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, so no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today we have 383 employees and have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. If you were told at a timeshare presentation that this was available today and today only, that timeshare was a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, call my office now. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-507-4900. 800-507-4900. 800-507-4900.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar & Levine. Our team can help you understand your legal options after an accident. We will file your claim and fight for the full compensation you deserve. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Look, boss, there's another Safe Touch house.
Just play it cool, drive on by.
Word on the street is these new Safe Touch security video cameras are really pinching the burglary business.
Yeah? How so?
Well, the cameras are integrated with the Safe Touch app, right? So the homeowner gets notified when someone even gets close to the house.
So that protects the entire property then?
Exactly. Driveway burglaries are a thing of the past now with these Safe Touch cameras.
Driveway break-ins. The low-hanging fruit of the burglary biz.
Yup. Boss, I heard someone even got busted for letting their dog poop in someone's yard.
Ha! Caught in the act with a Safe Touch security camera. Priceless.
Yeah, it keeps our job pretty simple. See a Safe Touch sign? Just drive on by.
Now, for a limited time, the Safe Touch Advantage plan includes free equipment and installation for new customers with an Advantage monitoring agreement. The Safe Touch doorbell camera, a $200 value, can be added for just $99. Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Nights of Lights dazzles with more than 3 million lights in the historic district of St. Augustine. Now imagine doubling those lights as they reflect off the water during your tour with Redboat Tours. Avoid downtown crowds by boarding at Beach's Restaurant Marina at 250 Volano Road. Then sit back and let Captain Tony and Miss Jennifer take you on a tour you'll never forget. Don't settle for imposters. Make no mistake, Redboat Tours is St. Augustine's only USA Today Reader's Choice Best Boat Tour 3 years running. Book your Nights of Lights tours now at redboattours.com.
Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
I'm Adam Greathouse, United States Army.
Greg Gatson, Colonel, United States Army.
When I came back home, I realized something wasn't right with me.
I was wounded as a battalion commander.
I thought I was going to be stuck there. I thought everyone forgot me.
Hi, I'm Representative Kat Kamak. This year, let's make sure our veterans get the support they need and deserve. Let's take the time to thank those who put everything on the line for us.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Whether on your radio, on your phone, or your smart speaker.
Now playing ESPN Radio.
He's seen guys that's not even going to make the team. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards in a game.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the environment. I don't know. It didn't seem like offensively we're out of rhythm. James went down, but Carlos is a good back, and we just didn't have that balance. And then you start getting you get behind the scoreboard a little bit, and you start doing things you're really not built to do.
That is Urban Meyer. I'm telling you, I think Carlos Hyde's an okay back. They love Carlos Hyde more than anybody's ever loved Carlos Hyde. I mean, doesn't it feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, yes, I agree with you. No, I mean, they lived in San Francisco that one year. He had a pretty good showing in San Francisco.
Yeah. I just think everything, you can make the case, and I don't believe this is true. So I haven't been on this train of, they don't like James Robinson. But I don't think that's true. I think that you want more backs. You don't want one back. Like, what happens if he goes down, like this week potentially, where you don't have him? Yeah. You want to keep guys fresh. It's a tough position. I mean, you get beat up every week. It's a 17-game season now. And then, of course, you wanted speed with ETN. I mean, now we see it, right? I mean, ETN would make a difference with speed in this offense, and that is an element that James doesn't have. But it's almost like I now feel like they did get a little caught up in the lack of speed for James Robinson, that almost in the back of their mind. Again, it's not that they don't like him. It's that they just don't value him maybe as much, kind of in a subconscious almost kind of way, because of his lack of speed. And what they learned again on Sunday is just how valuable this guy is. Like, I don't know how many more times you got to hit it right in the face to know that James Robinson is one of the best running backs in the NFL, and he's a vital part of what the Jaguars are doing.
No, for sure. He's your identity right now, and Urban Meyer even said that. We're not built for that. What you're built for right now as a football team is giving James Robinson the ball. And that's primarily really all you're built for. Now, yeah, you can sprinkle the pass every once in a while with Trevor Lawrence, but we've seen that this passing game can't do it by themselves. They need to play complementary football with the running game as well. I want to ask you a question, because I watched that Colts-Titans game a little bit this past Sunday. You have to go back to remember when Jonathan Taylor got drafted and take what you know now out of it. But if you could have drafted Travis Etienne or Jonathan Taylor, who would you have drafted?
Like on the Jags, like right now, say you're telling me like Jonathan Taylor was available in this year's draft?
Yes.
I don't think I would have drafted Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
Because I think I have that guy in James Robinson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. Okay. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Jonathan Taylor,
might combine the two?
Yes. I think he combines the two, number one, but number two, he adds, like, this is a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Right? This wasn't a first-round guy. Now there's speculation that the Jaguars wanted him in the second round, and that's why Indianapolis traded up to get him. Who knows? You got James Robinson, so we're not complaining. But I'm just saying, I think when Jonathan Taylor was selected in the second round, he was going to be a good back, but I didn't expect him to be the home run hitter. I didn't expect him to be this dynamic guy.
It felt more like a plotter at Wisconsin, right?
And fantasy experts were all over saying, he's not going to do that well because you still have Nyheim Hines, you have Marlon Mack. Well, Jonathan Taylor has kind of cemented himself now as an every down back in the pass game, obviously in the run game, and he's presented himself now as a home run hitter as well. And this is a second-round pick. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, what is Travis Etienne going to look like then? Because you saw what a second-round pick in Jonathan Taylor do for this Colts offense. Now, I get that you have Carson Wentz and the offense isn't firing on all cylinders, but I'll tell you right now, their problem is not the run game. They're one of the better running teams in the NFL. So I wonder what a first-round Travis Etienne is going to do in the backfield, out of the slot, wherever you put him. But you see what a second-round guy in Jonathan Taylor can do for you.
Yeah, it's a good call. I think the one thing about Etienne, Taylor is a more physical back than Etienne, in my opinion.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But Etienne can run between the tackles. He was like the all-time leading rusher or whatever in the ACC.
Yeah.
This guy has unbelievable career. And again, the ACC is different than playing the NFL. I understand that. But I think we have this in our head around here, and I'm a little guilty of this, that, okay, you got the guy that's in between the tackles and James Robinson. Now you got to go get the guy that can score from anywhere on the field, and he can do a variety of things, and he's more like a third down back. And while I think the Jags would have utilized him like that, I think if, let's just say he stayed healthy, and now James Robinson was going to miss a couple of weeks, I think he could have easily gone back there, carried the load 24 times, and still given you the option of what he gives you in the speed part of the game and in that part of the playbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and keep in mind also, Jonathan Taylor took a little bit time to get going there in Indianapolis. They had multiple backs as well.
It was kind of a running back by committee for a while.
But he certainly hit a new gear, right?
Yeah.
It feels like.
And I think going forward, what Jonathan Taylor has meant to that organization in terms of being dynamic on offense, you hope that, Travis Etienne can at least match that in terms of being dynamic and what he means.
Yeah. What does Jonathan Taylor have, from a, let's just say, a touchdown standpoint? I don't know his full stats. I'm going to look it up real quick. Good radio. We get it. I know it.
It seems like he's doing pretty well. He's got 6 touchdowns this year.
Okay, what's his?
121 yards. 121 rushes, 649 yards.
Okay. What's that per carry? Do you know?
Oh, man, Brett, you're throwing a lot at me. So
Long
right now
division,
he's at 5.4 yards per carry.
He's at what?
5.4.
That's good. So
81.1 yards per game.
Yeah, so he's doing everything. I mean, 6 touchdowns, and I mean in the receiving game, he's even caught 21 passes. So yeah, I mean he's done it all. So the question, what you're basically asking is like, let's just say James Robinson isn't here, just in this hypothetical.
Yeah.
Can Travis Etienne do that?
Well, yeah, exactly. And I guess what I was getting at is, you took a guy in the first round, and I get so he was hurt this year. Not going to fault him for that. Injuries happen. Hopefully, he comes out next year and he hits the ground running. But I'm just saying, do you think Etienne is going to have an influence on this offense like Jonathan Taylor's had an influence on that Colts offense, his second or third year in the NFL now?
Yeah, I
think second year would have been, right?
Second year.
Yeah, second year, yeah.
I would actually say I do think Etienne, like I can see now more and more as this goes along how they would have used Etienne and how valuable he could have been to this offense.
Okay.
Now, I think he kind of would have gone into kind of like what Jonathan Taylor did. There would have been some moments in his rookie year, but it would maybe evolve more in year number 2 and year 3 and beyond that. I think that's what we're seeing with Taylor. So, yeah, to answer your question, I think Etienne can give you that. What I don't know if he'll be asked to do all of that early on, even maybe in year 2, as long as James Robinson's still getting the job done.
Yeah.
But you could see a scenario where Etienne, let's just say he had come in here and done very well, and he does very well next year, and the Jags get to like that 4th year on James Robinson, and or actually this year they could give him a contract extension if they want to after the season. And they say, you know what? We don't have to throw the bank at this guy. Maybe we trade him away and we got a piece to trade or something like that because we like what Etienne's doing. Kind of like what the Colts could do with Marlon Mack,
Well, I mean, it's essentially what the Saints did with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara.
True.
Yeah.
So you could see that. I'm not predicting that, by the way. I'd rather have both guys, too.
I'd keep James Robinson.
But one other thing, and this may be a little bit – this isn't like they draft him at number 33 or 4.
Yeah.
They drafted him at 41 in the second round. And I think a lot of GMs would say, hey, if I think this player is going to be dynamic, to get him at number 25, not like number 8, but number 25, I get an extra year out of that guy.
Yeah.
So picking him later in the first round, is there really that much of a difference between picking him 34th or even 41st than the 25th? Now, 41 to 25 seems like a pretty good stretch.
It does, yeah.
But it would be a nice measuring stick to see in the career of Jonathan Taylor versus maybe what Travis Etienne is capable of doing.
Yeah,
and now that they picked him in the first round, at least they've got 4 good years left of him after the injury.
Correct.
So it almost does benefit them in a strange way. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 Tuesdays from Topgolf. What do you think about Game 6 tonight? Is it the Astros to win? The Braves close it out? We talk a little bit about that because it's trade deadline day, and the Major League Baseball trade deadline is way better than the NFL one. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
What's up? It's Casey of Action Sports Jacks, and I have something brand new to ESPN 690 to share with you. Every Jags home game morning, we are bringing you ESPN 690 Game Day Live from the Duval House. Brent Martineau will be live at the Duval House, right next to the bank, and I'll be in studio getting you ready for a Jags home game, the other games around the NFL, fantasy football, and even some Survivor Pool advice as well. Listen live every Jags home game morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's ESPN 690 Game Day Live, sponsored by the Duval House.
Know what time it is? It's time to get moving. Cora Physical Therapy has opened a new state-of-the-art clinic in Kingsland on Boone and Haddock, and will be opening another one soon in Brunswick. With Cora, you have access to licensed, passionate clinicians, only the most innovative equipment, and life-changing therapies. Cora is all about treating everyone right now. It's your move. Visit CoraPhysicalTherapy.com for a free screening. No physician's referral required. Same-day appointments available.
Nights of Lights dazzles with more than 3 million lights in the historic district of St. Augustine. Now imagine doubling those lights as they reflect off the water during your tour with Redboat Tours. Avoid downtown crowds by boarding at Beach's Restaurant Marina at 250 Volano Road. Then sit back and let Captain Tony and Miss Jennifer take you on a tour you'll never forget. Don't settle for imposters. Make no mistake, Redboat Tours is St. Augustine's only USA Today Reader's Choice Best Boat Tour 3 years running. Book your Nights of Lights tours now at redboattours.com.
Temperatures keep climbing, and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with a Connecticut system proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
If you have an unpaid tax debt to the IRS that you can't pay, please hear this special notice. Specially approved IRS relief programs designed to aid delinquent taxpayers are now in effect that can significantly improve your financial situation. Depending on your circumstances, you may qualify to have your tax problem resolved in your favor and may even have your back taxes reduced by thousands or eliminated entirely. A relief hotline has been established by Community Tax for you to call and see if you qualify at 800-664-0353. If you owe the IRS back taxes that you can't afford to pay, don't let the IRS trick you into thinking you have no way out. Our highly accredited tax professionals will let you know what you qualify for and how much you can save. We may be able to stop all liens, garnishments, levies, and save you thousands. Call and see if you qualify for this taxpayer relief at 800-664-0353. 800-664-0353. 800-664-0353. Community Tax. Who's your tax guy?
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. Call Cordell & Cordell. You're not alone.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Jacksonville area attorneys. Offices in Jacksonville and by appointment only in Ponte Vedra Beach. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Shantae, can you sweep that, please?
Mina's salon business is growing faster than she can keep up with. She needs a new shop manager before her bookings go out of style.
Curtain bangs and balayage would look so good on you. Just hang on 1 second. Can you please answer that?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Basket Brigade, sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka, knows that any act of kindness makes a difference for many. Make your donation so that families in our community receive grocery gift cards to make their purchases. To donate, visit ESPN690.com. Thank you for donating to make a difference.
Mindset is keep fighting. I'm a huge MMA fan, and I've seen a lot of guys almost knocked out, and they find a way to battle back and fight. And being 3-1, now we're still down 3-2, but I truly believe that if there's one team that can accomplish that in this league, it's us. So we're staying confident. We're just going to go out there, battle every single inning, and try to win every single pitch.
There's more team than one that can do it in the league, okay? Mm-hmm. Who was that, Correa?
Yep.
Nice.
Pretty good guess.
Nicely done.
It was so funny the other day. Were you watching Game 5 of the World Series? And I think it was Buck who was saying, he's like, well, of all the scenarios that were painted, I doubt Garcia will come in on short day rest. And like right after the game, they get Dusty Baker on. He's like, yeah, I'll probably go with Garcia.
Garcia, short day's rest. Here we go. Yep.
That's something to watch, of course.
Yeah.
Here we go, Game 6, Major League Baseball World Series. It's been pretty good. The Braves have a Braves fever. You can watch the game on Fox 30, by the way. Ratings have been unbelievable. The Braves fans have come out of the woodwork. I mean, I've never seen ratings this high in Jacksonville. Now, I asked somebody in the station And they said, yeah, that we've had some, like a couple years back, I forget which one it was. If they broke down some of the numbers, they would be somewhat equivalent. But these numbers are pretty strong in Jacksonville, the ones I'm looking at over the last few days, and especially Sunday. I said this on Twitter. This is very unusual for the World Series to beat football. It beat the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football.
That's wild.
The World Series did.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, again, I don't see that very often. But I think it's because they had a chance to clinch. I think the Braves fans are out and about. I mean, there's certainly a lot of Braves fans like that aren't every single day Braves fans.
Sure.
It's been a tough go. It's been since 1999, since the World Series, 95.
Hop on that bandwagon.
Since they won. Yeah, that's okay. I have no problem with the bandwagon folks in sports. I think that's what builds fan bases, quite frankly, and that's how kids grow on and like a team, you know?
It depends the situation. Like, I mean, I think for Braves fans, I have no problem with teams fans hopping on that bandwagon. Like the whole, and I'm sure, Casey can attest to this as well, the whole Nashville
What did you
Predators.
almost say?
I almost said Coos, but I didn't. I caught myself. Starts with the K, okay? KC. The whole Casey thing, though, with the Nashville Predators, I think their whole bandwagon jumping didn't do it for me. I'm not sure how you feel about it, Casey.
I got confused when you almost called me the wrong name.
Okay, well then, yeah.
She shot to
it's all
the
good.
ego. Here we go.
It's all good. Sorry, Brent said Coos' name before we came back
on.
I
said something like "shut up, Coos."
Yeah, and I got a little thrown off. Sorry.
All right. Yeah. Well, I don't mind bandwagon fans. Is the moral of the story. And by the way, like, how many bandwagon fans are there of your Tampa Bay Lightning? like a litany of them. And that's how. See, that's the beauty of it. The Lightning have a great fan base in Tampa. Why? Because they've been good. When Tampa first got the franchise, were all those fans? No.
Yeah.
But when they start winning, and it's like, wow, that place is electric, I want to go.
Yeah.
Well, then they come
Good
on.
one.
I have no problem with bandwagon fans. And
you know what? I think we would take some in Jacksonville.
that's exactly it. Like, I want these kids right here to like the Jags.
Brent
and if they were
kids that are walking by,
if they
don't
were to
scare
win
the kids now.
If they were to win the Super Bowl and Trevor Lawrence, they'd be wearing Trevor Lawrence shirts walking into Topgolf.
How are you going to put kids on the spot when they're walking in, man? They're like
that's a shout
5
out
years old. They don't know what's going on.
Fine. I mean,
okay.
But those are the kids. That's what happens. Like, I see more Patrick Mahomes jerseys around here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
because
it's the cool
Patrick
thing.
Mahomes. I mean,
It's the cool thing.
it doesn't.
He's in the State Farm commercials.
Yeah, I think. First of all, Trevor has a chance to do that, I think, kind of across the country if he's
State
very,
Farm
very
commercials?
good. Oh, yeah, he's already.
He's in Subway.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
He'll be on everything.
Yeah, get him at State Farm.
If he's good, and if the Jags are good. And listen, I mean, there are Russell Wilson fans everywhere now. Seattle, people 5 years ago, 6 years ago, people wondered if Seattle still had an organization.
True.
True. I mean, that's how it works. And could the Jags – see, I thought in 17, because the defense was so good, I thought the Jags might have had a chance to be the cool team.
Oh, of course.
People would root for all over the place. Not all across the country, because you have your standard fan bases. And the people that like these, like the Giants, right, or like the Cubs or the Red Sox or the Yankees or the Dodgers or whoever it might be, those teams that have been around forever, they're like, oh, I don't like bandwagon fans. Where have you been? It's like, well, give me a team that did a little something. Before you can have – those teams have a history of success. Like, you're a Dodgers fan or a Yankees fan because your grandfather was or your dad was. Well, the Jags don't have any of that. A team like the Lightning doesn't have any of that. And the Braves, I mean, really, they've lost a whole generation of that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they haven't done anything in over 20 years. When you haven't done anything in 20 years, you've lost a generation of a fan base, which, by the way, the Jaguars have kind of done that in their own city.
Yeah. No, for
but
sure.
the Braves have done that in their own city, too, really. I mean, all these kids grew up without. Now you're seeing 24-year-old kids at the game like, yeah, I've loved the Braves since 2004.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Couldn't name a player 5 years ago. No, I got you.
But that's okay to me. Like, that's okay. That's fine. That's how fan bases grow.
Yeah.
Why are you mad at the Lightning?
I'm cool with that.
I'm not mad at the Lightning, but the Bucks are this way, too. You tell me. Okay.
Careful.
Go to the Deer District in 2012.
There
Four
wasn't a Deer
people
District.
would have showed up. It would have looked like Halloween on an empty cul-de-sac.
Okay, well, the Deer District was – there is no Deer District without the finals. Like, they started the Deer District because of the finals.
You get my point.
No, but, I mean, I will be honest, though. I think in Wisconsin, it's just Bucks fans. It's not like – see, that's why I think, like, Braves fans, they're always going to be there because Atlanta's a big city. Now, maybe you don't talk about them that much, but like there's still fandom there.
Well,
just
that
like I think
TBS and all that,
but
right?
Like,
they were a national brand.
I mean, I'm not sure how many bandwagon jumpers that there were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but yeah, the Deer District was lit, as the kids say.
Yeah, I guess my point to that is not too many people were wearing a Jack Sikma jersey over the last 25 years in Milwaukee.
Wearing Ray Allen jerseys.
Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? I have one in my possession.
Hey, you were.
Everybody's okay. All right, man. I'm telling you, I think Ray Allen meant a lot to that city.
I'm telling you that since Giannis has got there, the Bucks fandom has grown 25-fold compared to what it was for the last 40 years.
Oof, Brent, you have to go back to the 90s, though, man, when it was Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, and the big dog going against Allen Iverson in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Glenn Robinson.
Yeah, a.k.a. the big dog.
I would tell you that if they built the Deer District that year, only half the population would have showed.
So you think that if the Bucks would have made the finals with Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, and Sam Cassell, and they would have actually beat the 76ers, that the Deer District would be half as full?
Yep. No, I didn't say they would actually beat them. I said for that series. Well,
for the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah.
The Deer District would have been half as full?
Yep.
I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly.
All right, so do the Braves win tonight, Casey Kurtz?
No.
You see, you're like one of these guys that kind of likes misery a little bit instead of thinking positively.
Okay.
Because he hates the Astros.
Yeah.
Now he thinks the Astros are going to come back and win.
So do
okay.
5,
don't
6, and 7.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I thought they were going to win the whole time. I have an hour show after this. I'm not going to give you for the second time all of my thoughts on it. That's why you got to listen to the hour show.
Oh, that's
give them a little appetizer.
Good tease.
And last time you said no one's listening to your show,
tonight.
By the way. That's what you led me with last time. So hopefully
Casey
I can get a little
server,
better
man.
than that this time.
I was going to say 5 people are now.
Oh, wow, man. This is on our station. You're acting like we don't work for the station. Why would you say that? Casey, you
kind of set me up.
Casey, you're a great server, man. We have great specials tonight. That's all you got to say. Stick with us, and we'll have the specials later to you.
So do you think
great
Houston
looking
wins?
list? I'm sorry?
Do you think
I think Houston wins.
All right. I think the Braves win. Braves will win Game 6. It's on Fox 30. It's on ESPN 690. And hang out for Casey's show after 6 o'clock.
Oh, be honest.
Thank
tell
you.
Us how you really feel, Brent.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Tuesdays from Top Golf.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save up to 41% off during Beard's anniversary sale.
Camrys, Corollas, RAV4s, Tundras, and more. When you're ready to buy a new Toyota, you've got to get to Arlington Toyota. At Arlington Toyota, they've got 300 new Toyotas available, plus interest rates as low as 0% on over 10 new Toyota models. 0%. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And every new car purchase gets a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Shop arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/November for full details.
With 24/7 customer service and guaranteed repairs, your Progressive policy works the way it's supposed to. Unlike this stressful meditation guide.
Take a deep breath. Focus on all the things you have to do. Did someone make the vet appointment yet? You don't know? That feels like something you should know.
Switch to Progressive today.
You are a mess.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Repairs through Progressive Network shops guaranteed for as long as you own or lease your car.
You're always up for some fun with the family, so you order the essentials, a new board game, some baking supplies, and even a new projector for outdoor movie night. And with the Bank of America customized Cash Rewards credit card, you can choose to earn 3% cash back on online shopping, which could increase to up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member. Rewards which you can put toward an extra treat that everyone will enjoy, like an old-fashioned popcorn machine. Visit bankofamerica.com/more rewarding and apply now. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough. And the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you. So you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you were lied to when buying a timeshare and want out, you need my help. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, so no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have 383 employees and have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. If you were told at a timeshare presentation that this was available today and today only, that timeshare was a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, call my office now. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-507-4900. 800-507-4900. 800-507-4900.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue. And it is at Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Open 7 days a week. Try the smoked wings, southern sides, and big old platters. Trivia night and kids eat free specials during the week. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all events. Order online and skip the line. Visit williejewells.com to see other locations in Florida and Georgia. Yulee to St. Augustine, Brunswick, and Kingsland. Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Smoked for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jewell's.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite spot to watch the game, Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear. More driven.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Left a woman dead in the other vehicle. This according to Las Vegas Metro Police. Ruggs will be charged with DUI resulting in death. The Dolphins did not trade for Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson before today's NFL trade deadline. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Miami did its due diligence on Watson. Owner Stephen Ross made the final call not to move forward. The Steelers traded outside linebacker Melvin Ingram to the Chiefs for a 6th-round pick. KCG and Brett Veach bringing in Ingram to help Frank Clark and Chris Jones with that pass rush, explains Monday Night Football analyst Louis Riddick.
And they need another guy who now, along with Frank, can line up on the outside, so they have 3 guys who can really get after it. And Melvin's someone that Brett has obviously been fond of. He's very familiar with him being out there in the AFC West when he was at LA and with the Chargers. And this is a smart move on their part.
Louis Riddick, former USC coach Clay Helton, has agreed on a deal to become the next football coach at Georgia Southern, reports ESPN's Adam Rittenberg.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. And great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
It was really one quarter of bad football. If you look at the stats, look at the numbers, we played great football. It was just that first quarter. And you take that first quarter away, that team has 0 points. So we just have to do a better job and just starting out fast, man. Not even do a better job. We just have to know and put ourselves in situations before they really happen so we can make the plays. So guys just need, we just need to get back in that playbook and just get better individually.
That's Josh Allen, and I'm not sure he'd have the same soundbite after watching the tape. That's my guess.
But hey, give Josh Allen a little credit because he had a good day, and like, and I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but like when I played against Indianapolis my second year, Thursday Night Football, I was a captain. Like I called the captain, and I had a quarterback sack on Andrew Luck. So like, yeah, we got blown out still on national television.
Yeah, but
like,
you felt good.
But I left the game thinking like, well, I mean, I'll watch the film tomorrow. It's all good. I mean, I'm not gonna be in the best of moods, but yeah, so the film on. Let's see what I did.
I understand that.
That's where Josh Allen's kind of.
I get that. I do get that.
Okay.
I think that's. By the way, I think that is human nature. Now, whether you say that kind of stuff like blatantly in front of a mic or not, no. And I'm not saying Josh did, but I think that is human nature. I think if you go back to whenever you played high school ball and you went 4 for 4 and you guys lost 7-4 in a game, well, you're kind of like, yeah, that sucked that we lost, but shoot, 4 for 4 is pretty nice.
Yeah, so that tape on. Let's watch those 4 hits. You know what I'm saying? So
I think
it does. I mean, listen, losing sucks, Brent. Right? I mean, it's the worst in the NFL, but it cushions the blow when you have 2 quarterback sacks in a game.
Yeah, I think you're right. And by the way, a couple tackles for losses too.
Yeah.
And I think he'd been getting home or been getting close to getting home. And so for him to actually finish the deal on some plays, I think is significant for him. Like I think that helps his confidence. And by the way, if he comes out feeling good about himself, maybe somebody else comes out of Buffalo game feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that starts to stack up a little bit. Jags could use some of that for sure. You know, there's one thing about the Braves, okay? I say the Braves will win tonight, and people start going crazy. Don't jinx us. Can you guys stop being so soft?
Uh-oh.
Like, if you don't think the Braves are going to win tonight, then what are you in it for? I mean, come on. Here's the thing.
Brent,
if the Braves don't win tonight, they probably won't win tomorrow night.
Okay.
I think it's very hard to win in Game 7 when you've lost Game 6, especially if you lost Game 5, too.
Okay.
So,
I mean, Brent,
I'm just trying to give you a vote of confidence, Braves fans. I mean, I think you're going to win tonight. I think you're better. I think you bounce back nice. These are nice things. These are good things. These are positive thoughts. Don't be so soft.
Brent,
this dude is on one today.
Isn't he on one today? But, Brent, you kind of are a jinx when it comes to baseball. You kind of are a jinx in general, though.
Like what?
Well, I had to sit here for, I don't know, half a baseball season and listen to how the Red Sox sucked and how'd that work out for the Red Sox.
They're not in the World Series.
Okay, but they were one of the best teams in Major League Baseball.
One of the best 4.
Maybe the Braves would feel better if I said the Braves suck today and they're going to get blown out 12-0.
I have to sit here and listen to how Daniel Jones is good, and
he is
trash.
Okay. Casey, how Daniel Jones do last night for fantasy football?
I won't even consider looking at him again. I don't care if I have to play Geno Smith.
So it wasn't that good then, huh?
No.
I mean, at least with Jalen Hurts, at least you get your fantasy numbers up, you know. I mean, not the last game, but at least with Jalen Hurts, you get your rushing yards. You know, you get your 25s a game. What did Daniel Jones do last night?
Not good.
Sorry to hear that.
Couple touchdown passes.
Yeah, two. Who's not throwing? Mike White's throwing 4 touchdown passes a game, 5 touchdown passes a game. So don't tell me 2 touchdown passes like it's a flex or something, because I'm not impressed.
The Rams waived Deshaun Jackson. Sorry.
Whoa!
That was a quick trade and release.
Sorry, Stafford.
Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
Any interest? He's free now.
He's free.
I mean, what are the Jags on the waiver wire like? Oh, it doesn't matter on the waivers with a guy that's suspended.
He goes wherever he wants to go. You know, Brent, it's speed. Obviously, Urban Meyer likes that. I'm not sure how much Deshaun Jackson has left to give.
I don't know if I want Deshaun Jackson coming to a 1-6 team either.
I don't think you'd want to go to a 1-6
feel like that
team.
guy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know him, but I feel like they've had some issues over the years with him. Get unhappy on a 1-6 team. That was the problem with even like an Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
You know, Odell Beckham Jr. I thought about this real quick. Josh Kobe's going to join us in a couple moments. Football at 5 here. Some Top Golf Tuesdays from Top Golf every Tuesday on ESPN 690. And so I got a couple of quick thoughts. What was I just saying?
Talking about Deshaun Jackson. Talking about.
It totally just blanked out on what I was going to tell you. Where I wanted to go with this.
Deshaun Jackson.
And I'm not getting closer to it.
Not Deshaun
all right?
Jackson.
So it will come back to me.
Okay,
it's all coming back to me now. So I'll give you my other quick thought.
Okay.
The one quick thought I had is I feel like there's an element of the Jags that knows they're not going to be a playoff team this year, knew they never were, so they're almost not satisfied. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But maybe a little complacent in terms of like a sense of urgency. kind of knowing who they are. You listen to Miles Jack talk. You listen to these guys who have been around it. They know, like, hey, we got a rookie quarterback. We got a new staff. This stuff's going to take a little bit of time. And by the way, that's reality. Like, it is going to take a little time. But can it take away from your sense of urgency, detail, all those kind of things? Not effort. I don't see an effort problem with the Jags.
Yeah.
But to be like, hey, listen, we know who we are. We're just okay. And therefore, you're not like, man, if we lose this game, the end of the world has just happened. Like, I don't sense that this is a team that's like, man, we lost the game, the end of the world it just happened.
No, it's not like that, because this is going to be a slow build, you know, and there's going to be headaches and all that stuff. I mean, you know, in terms of expectations, yeah, this team isn't where we thought. At least I think this team's not where we thought they would be. Now, I wasn't expecting, you know, over 6 wins this year. They're not going to probably even come close to that. But there was going to be some trials and tribulations, and there's more than expected right now, and that's football. That's where they're at right now on this team. And the most important part is keeping guys healthy, like Trevor Lawrence, and making sure that going forward, guys still want to be here. Like, that's the last thing you want it to happen now is lose your locker room and have guys leave.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, I thought you bought me some time to think about what I wanted to talk about the other thing, and now I still can't figure it out. I'll probably figure it out at like 6:05. Yeah, but it wasn't about Deshaun Jackson. It was getting me somewhere else. And now I've completely lost my train of thought. So let's get Scobie in here. He went right to the hitting mat.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like it.
You think he's got are those new sneakers?
Well, those ones he wore last time.
Oh, those are the ones last time.
Those are the Milk of Magnesia Air Maxes.
How much do you think those cost? You think he's still got his Nike allowance?
I'd say $125.
$125, all right.
I'd say $125.
That's double more than I've ever spent on a pair of sneakers. These are $60. That's my tops.
Yeah, but Brent, be honest though, you're starting to sell out now because you were your team Skechers forever, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere now you're wearing Nikes like you're trying to be somebody.
But see, you guys
like you made it.
Said like TJ Maxx and all those others. This is a Kohl's special right here.
Still though,
$60. That's my max.
Brent, I'm just saying, I knew you back in the days of Kohl's and of Skechers and everything. I mean, of Skechers really. And the Amazon ones you used to wear, and now all of a sudden,
I got the $18 Amazons. Like you couldn't even name the brand.
Casey, what I say all the time, man, you can't hide it. You can't hide money. And sometimes you got to forget where you come from. And Brent Martineau, rocking Nikes now, might be one of those guys.
Austin, did you ever have an allowance?
Oh yeah,
with
sure.
Nike.
Yeah.
How much was it? You mind me asking?
Yeah, it was $5K. It was $5K a year.
Even fifth round Austin Lane from Murray State got $5K from Nike.
Well, okay, so you want to hear the real story? So Under Armour wanted to have me for their campaign because Under Armour is kind of fresh in the game. Did I tell the story before or not?
No.
So back in 2010, Under Armour first started to become a thing. And they liked my personality. They liked I looked a little different than a lot of players, so they wanted to sign me to their Under Armour campaign.
Okay.
Problem was, though, is I couldn't stand wearing their cleats. So the Senior Bowl came around, and they're like, all right, so this is your opportunity, showcase the Under Armour cleats, talk about it.
I do remember this story.
Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I put them on. I'm like, yeah, I'm not wearing these. And I go to my agent. I'm like, I don't care how much they're paying me. I'm not wearing the Under Armour cleats.
Well, that's
because
a bad
I'm getting
business
blistered.
decision.
No, for sure. So I didn't wear the Under Armour cleats. They were a little upset. Went with Nike instead. $5,000 a year. It is what it is.
Well, that's how much more money we were talking maybe with Under Armour?
Yeah, a couple
$5,300.
No, it probably would have been. I mean, it would have been cash though too.
Oh. Okay.
Instead of just an allowance.
I remember. Okay, I'm going to take you back. Remember when you guys got new uniforms? Oh, you did a bunch. I know, but
like every game. You mean?
No, like the whole new launch. It was when Justin Blackman was playing.
Oh, you talking about?
Oh, you were out.
Yeah,
you
I was there with Tyson. Talking about the dual helmets.
Yeah. So I've told you the story though. Like we went out to Nike.
Yeah.
And with the Jags, like the Jags, Dan Edwards went out there. A couple of guys like Ozier went out there. Patrick from the Jags, and I went out there because we're the official station.
Yeah.
And so we went out there like way early before they launched. They announced it.
Oh,
and so you could gather all this information, like from Nike. You got to tour the facility, what went into the program design. The other teams were getting, I think it was the Vikings and the Dolphins were also getting new uniforms. And so they all did the same thing too. And so we're out there, and you could get pictures and video, but you couldn't use any of it until they launched it. Like this probably in August or July or something when they finally did it. And, we went to the Nike store out there.
Is this in Oregon?
In Oregon.
About? Yeah, Eugene.
Yeah, or Portland area or whatever.
Yeah.
And so when we went out there, Justin Blackmon was out there because he was modeling the new uniforms.
Good person to model it.
And so anyway, what I remember, see, I never knew you guys got like this allowance.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember him telling us he got, like, he was in that store and he got like $10,000 if he wanted to spend.
Yep.
Now, meanwhile, they gave us like a great buy. They gave anything that we got, it was half off. So it was, just 50-50 deal. And so I got like a putter. I came back from the trip with a putter.
Carrying that on the plane, people are wondering what you're doing.
So no, but I bought like a decent amount of stuff. But Justin Blackmon's like buying other people's stuff basically because he's got $10,000 to spend. He can't even spend it all in the same place.
Well, now but keep in mind though, you got to pay taxes on it, so it wasn't just free money. You got to pay taxes on it. So take that for what you want, Brent.
But that doesn't hang with you guys.
No,
Once you're done, you're done.
No. I didn't know that until like my third or fourth year in the league that you actually had to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
So I'm spending all this money.
Golf clubs.
And then I see at the bottom of my, paragraph or whatever, whenever my accountant sends it to me, I'm like, wait a minute, I paid 33% on all that?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
So
it was still worth it.
I actually lost my Nike endorsement, Brent, my third year because when I had my Liz Frank injury, they had a rule where if you covered up the logo with like a spat, it had to be because of an injury. So I had my Liz Frank injury. I covered up, my foot because I was injured with tape, but then I couldn't spat my other cleat. So they're like, either you just spat your one foot that's hurt, or you're not gonna get the money. I'm like, well then no, I'm not gonna spat one foot. Like, I'm trying to play, and like I've been told because each team had its own representative. And I remember I went up to the guy, and I wasn't the kindest because I was a little ticked off. I'm like, you guys preach player performance, but then you only want me to spat one foot. It's like one foot weighs 20 pounds extra than my other foot. Like, how do you preach player performance? Then I have to go through that. So he wasn't impressed. I lost my endorsement deal. It is what it is.
What did you buy? Most absurd thing you bought from Nike with your allowance?
I typically would just buy golf stuff, and for me. And then at the end of the year, it was a lot of Christmas gifts, for family and friends and whatnot. But I did have an uncle of mine one time. I gave him the password to the Nike Elite website at the time. And he
Cole
ordered,
Haan as well there, Josh.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
And he ordered something like 15 pairs of shoes. And so obviously I didn't buy that, but he ordered 15 pairs of shoes for like $2,000 and maxed out my account.
Oh.
So, I called him and asked him, why did you do this? He's like, well, I like to try them on, and then I'll send them back whatever I'm not actually going to keep. And we didn't talk for a long time because of that. So
and then Josh had to pay taxes on that.
Yeah.
Do you talk to him now?
But I do now, yes. But I never bought anything crazy on there. It's typically just golf stuff.
Josh, Brent brought up an interesting little tidbit there about when they had the uniform launch.
Yep.
Do you remember where you were when that happened? Because I distinctly remember, because I had no idea. Maybe you had behind-the-scenes access with you and Meester, because Meester knew everything that was happening in that organization.
Yep.
Maybe Meester knew. But, like, me and Tyson Alualu had no idea what was going to happen. And when they brought out those two-tone helmets, Tyson Alualu was the man because you could always – you could always see what he's thinking without him ever saying anything, because like the guy never spoke anything.
Yeah,
but
his eyes.
But his eyes.
Yeah.
So like they bring out the helmet, and he looks at me, and he kind of just goes, and like, and then but like we're with we're with like the booster, whoever it was there, like the Jaguars club members, whatever. So like we got to put on like this facade, like, oh hell yeah, like all right,
this is awesome,
dude. But deep down we're like, not sure about that one. Were you there when they launched it? And what'd you think?
I was in the middle of a contract negotiation at the time.
Okay.
They wanted me to come back and do that reveal or whatever be one of those people, but obviously I didn't. But I had some inside information. Someone had sent me the helmet and the jerseys maybe a couple months before. And I'd sent back like, it's just, there's no way we're doing that.
Did you think about not signing?
Are you messing with me? I'm like, you got to be kidding. There's no way we're going with that helmet. Like, it looks like one of my kids just drew along the middle of the helmet, and then they just put the logo on. I honestly, there's a lot of dumb things that have happened in the Jaguars organization over the years. That's one of the dumbest decisions, and I don't know how it passed through so many people and got finalized, and they're like,
didn't ask the players' input.
Let's go with that one.
I think, and by the way, I don't know how much like Shad necessarily had to do with it, but I think when they did the revamp, I think Shad was such a new owner that I bet people were a little afraid to kind of give any pushback on anything. And again, I'm not sitting there saying he's the one that designed it, but obviously Nike designed it. Nike's coming up with this idea, right? These new ideas, and they're like, all right, let's change the whole look. Yeah. And it turns out that it wasn't very good.
It was a weird spot to be in because as players, you're supposed to be hyped up, and you're supposed to be excited, you're supposed to pervade
usually like that stuff too.
Yeah, and here we are just like. I just remember
you walk out like
just going.
I don't know. That was an interesting contract negotiation for you.
Yeah,
I remember.
It ended up
I remember
fine,
talking to your